Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. As Toya said, hit that like. Right? What's going on, Toya? And this is going to be conversation gumbo. I'm going to do a little bit of monologuing, and then we're going to let people up, and then we're going to have a hard stop somewhere around 4-ish. Not 4-ish going on 5, but like 4:15-ish. Mr. Z got a whole life. Okay. I know. You wouldn't think so with how much I post sometimes, and then sometimes not post. I know. With my schizophrenic channel, right? So let's start off with Kim Foster because that is a subject I've been pushing back for like 2 weeks now, it looks like. All right. Kim Foster has this thing. It's very white womanish, right? Which is like throwing rocks and hiding her hand. And she called us pigs, engaging in the quote unquote playing in the mud with the pigs, but then pretending like she's clean. Um, Kim, I know you're a Harvard graduate, and once again, my apologies for thinking that you weren't. I was under the impression that you attended Harvard, but you never graduated. But you're okay. You're a Harvard graduate, and once again, you know who corrected Z on that? Obsidian. You know, the same guy you call her stalker right now, or whatever. Okay, or that you say at least he's obsessed with you. Maybe you didn't say stalker. Right? Okay. So you're a whole Harvard graduate. I know you think you're that much smarter than all of us in the Black Manosphere combined. I know. Um, but maybe you would like to consider that maybe you're not. Why am I bringing that up in this conversation? Because, Miss Foster, you speak as if what you suggest, imply, and then sometimes just outright say we don't hear it, or we're too dumb to interpret what you're actually saying. Right? You're playing white woman damsel in distress. And I'm sorry, Miss Black woman, you can't get away with it. I'm sorry. I know your goal in life is to be like those white women you attended Harvard with. I know. Right? That's why you talk about class every 5 nanoseconds. I know your goal in life is to be like one of those upper middle class a-hole white women that you attended Harvard with. I know. But unlike them, you can't necessarily play damsel in distress after throwing rocks like they can. And we got receipts on you too, so you really can't. You really cannot. Right? I know. It's not fair. I know. Right? So, Kim Foster is engaging in one of these black men. She's doing the Gayle King, actually. She's pulling the Gayle King after Kobe's death. Right? And the way she went at Obsidian and essentially saying, "Oh, when I finally laid eyes on this man, ew, this is what I was getting all worked up for," and I'm okay. Right? You know, for train tracks, for someone of your intellectual prowess. And by the way, Obsidian is streaming right now also, and I caught a little bit of it, and he's speaking on Miss Foster and other black feminists and black women who did not say anything about Cynthia G for years. They never said anything. You think they didn't know what she was saying? What social media has allowed black men to do, and I know y'all want to boil down the Black manosphere to nothing but anti-black women hate speech. Social media has allowed black men to archive women like you, Miss Kim Foster, women like Princella, women like Chrissy, women like Yanni, women like Paris Milan, women like Shira Seven, women like all of you, all the divested zealot, divested witch, divested whatever, and how you sound and speak about black men. And you can't claim it was just in jest. Now, yes, you are a human being and you are definitely Granted, because Kim Foster has this obsession with grace. Kim Foster has this obsession with being able to speak as recklessly as possible and then still be forwarded grace. I don't know what the hell is up with Kim Foster and this whole idea that I should be able to talk and do whatever the hell ever and not be punished, right? And not have any type of consequences whatsoever, right? Do we grant people human moments? Absolutely. Should you be able to talk about black men, working class black men, like they're lower than dirt? While hopscotching and being like, well, I'm not really saying that, but I kind of am. I don't think I'm above them, but I kind of do. And then every once in a while, a blink and you'll miss it comment about, you divestors and swellers are taking this a little too far. I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know. They're just taking your ideology and just taking it to the next step. That part. Kim Foster thinks she's Oprah and Gail. She think we back in the 80s and 90s, definitely the 90s, where black women had a monopoly on the conversation and white racist liberal media let them run the yard with the conversation and would shut us black men down in the conversation between black men and black women. Gave angry, bitter, petite bourgeoisie black women the microphone and told black men to shut up and sit in the corner. Kim Foster think we're still back there 30 years ago. 25 years ago. Kim Foster think we're back there now. Sorry, Kim Foster. Sorry to all you black feminists. Yeah, we're archiving every single time you come out your mouth crazy about us. All you black women empowerment women. Shout out to Obsidian. And I'm not, trying to be like how many of y'all are under the white man's testes. But as Obsidian is playing over and over again, the women from Queens and Cocktails, when they were speaking to Ice Cube, and when Ice Cube realized, oh crap, these women really see themselves as separate and above black men. As do you, Miss Kim Foster. As you've peppered throughout your channel multiple times. A plethora of times. We can go through your channel and see how many times you've spoken about black men like you feel like you're above them. Right? Kim Foster, Ebony K. Williams, outside of the physique, what's the difference? Outside of the physique, what's the difference? Right? Another petite bourgeoisie black woman talking down on working class black men while still wanting to have, well, for Kim Foster, she don't want to have children. At least last time we checked. Let's see if she's in a relationship. Let's see if Buddy Rowe could actually have her to have kids. Right? And shout out to him. You're doing the Lord's work over there. You're doing the Lord's work. Right? Huh. So, why we cover Kim Foster? And Kim Foster, in her ego bag, they see me as Bowser. They see me as the final boss. Whoever told you that? No, Miss Kim Foster, not necessarily the final boss. Pull your head out of your own ass. No. But you are a representation of like the consummate black feminist, heterosexual black feminist at least, right? You are a representation of the consummate black feminist, right? The only thing you missing is the white boyfriend or husband. That's the only thing you missing. Or a same-sex loving relationship. That's what you missing. But outside of that, with your rhetoric, with your 1 foot in and 1 foot out, talk crap about black men, the I love you more than you love you, and you're too dumb to realize it type of talk you be doing. The only if you read these type of books, you would see how horrible you are and how you've been socialized to be a horrible person. You just need to read these 8 billion feminist books that, you know, tell you how horrible you are as a man. And maybe if you would follow me, get in line behind me, shout out Tiffany Cross. If you would get in line behind me, then you would see how toxic your brand of masculinity is. What you should do is be the consummate provider and protector, and then let me lead until something hits the fan in the family or in the relationship, and then you lead until we get back to safe pasture. Of course, of course. Patriarchy with feminist under feminist specifications, by the way. And don't worry, I'm waiting for the scholars to realize that that's what it is. For those of them that haven't realized it yet. Because I would argue many of them are realizing it, they just don't know how to word it yet to forward it to the rest of society. Hysterical, Dark Vulcan. I'm not going to read it out loud, but hysterical. Right? So, Kim Foster is your standard black feminist talking crap about black men while claiming, to care about the black community, primarily black women, of course, because you know black men are deficient and defective. You don't want to put too much energy into them, right? And claiming the problem with black men is, black men are black men, right? So she's trying to play damsel in distress, and my old title for this video was, once again calling on white zaddy to and she keeps on doing this is like standard issue white woman stuff. Call on white zaddy to come and regulate the niggas in the field. The niggas in the field are making me feel icky. White zaddy, come regulate them. White zaddy government, come regulate them. And Obsidian is 150% correct. Kim, I said it before, let me say it again. The reason why y'all not getting traction like y'all did in the late 70s and the 80s and the 90s is because y'all launched all the nukes. Miss Kim Foster. Black women have said so much reckless stuff about black men. And have spoken so ill of black men. Not only have you reached the market cap, or you're reaching the market cap of misandry or misandry, right? For some of you Brits out there. Not only are you reaching the market cap of misandry, you're reaching the market cap of people being sympathetic and lending you a sympathetic ear. And the entire society is starting to kind of moonwalk the other way. In other words, white folks are being like, we got a systemic problem with our boys and our men. We need to fix it. And yeah, well, black men could tag along. We understand what country we live in. We know they ain't doing it for us. And it's an interesting point you foster. Who has been recorded on the internet. It's going to be interesting to see how you move over the next 20 or some odd years, 30 years. It's interesting to see how you advocate for the next few decades. White husband or not, black husband or not, children or not. It's going to be real interesting to see how you advocate over the next couple decades when we have your words recorded. When I say y'all, the internet will expose us all. When I say y'all being, I've been saying for years, y'all being too loud. Watch it. Because many of you, not all, weren't also paying attention to what was happening outside of the black community. And that eventually we were going to have to course correct. And if I'm putting my finger up to the wind, putting my finger up, it looks like that course correction is it's about now. There needs to be some adjustments made. Yeah, right about now. It's gonna be real interesting to see how women like you, Miss Kim Foster, the petite bourgeoisie of the black community, how you respond to that. After so long of your intellectualizing misandry. Shout out to Toya for that one. And I said it before, like, look at that. Fresh and Fit speaks reckless. I have videos. I do not rock with Fresh and Fit. I have that recorded. I have it on wax that I do not mess with them. Before they got deplatformed, I got it on wax that I do not rock with them. Right? And I have it on wax. These people might be living in Miami. They are not from Miami. Miss Kim Foster, where's your videos and you on wax saying you don't rock with the Kim Fosters and whatnot, the divestors and whatnot? Huh? Because Juicy got it on wax. Uh-oh. Huh? Uh-oh. Even T Noor has a little bit of commentary about this kind of white boy worship. A white boy that a white dude that has, you know, a little bit of swag and says one or two positive things about black women and how y'all throw the vagina on them. Even T Noor has some commentary about that. You, Miss Foster? Uh-oh. Y'all gotta be careful how y'all speak. Yes, even you intellectuals like you, Miss Foster, even you Ivy League educated. So you know what it is? Y'all took for granted that the wind would always be at your back. That's what you took for granted, that white liberal society would always move us out the way, grab the microphone from us and give it to you so you could spew your nonsense. You took it for granted, Miss Foster. You and all of your ilk of black, educated, petite bourgeoisie, black women, y'all took it for granted. And I'm not saying the paradigm has completely shifted, and it clearly hasn't, but it's shifting. And now what? Always throwing rocks, insulting black men. Didn't you call us useless not too long ago? Yeah, because straight black men listening to a woman like you, you're really gonna lead us in the right direction, right? A woman like you, yeah, that's it. A bitter little short, angry troll with the sensibilities of an upper middle class white woman. You're gonna help working class, working poor black men. Yeah, that's it. Your ideology. Uh-huh. Yeah. The Kim Fosters of the world, they kind of know that the class element kind of hinders them from seeing things a certain way, but they really don't get it. And they really don't get how ignorant they are to the struggles of everyday black men. I'm not talking about black men like your current boyfriend. Talking about you should, Z, let's stop. Mm, ooh, hey, okay, all right, right. You know, black, Kim Foster acts like this hasn't been a back and forth between black men and black women. And I said this a little while ago. Black women play the dozens with black men, and then they get their feelings hurt, and then go run to white society. Zaddy, they're hurting our feelings. They're calling us fat and ugly. Wait, didn't you call him bald, dumb, and gay? Right? Zaddy, he's making fun of our names and our weight and our skin tone and our hair texture and our nose and our. Wait, but didn't you make fun of his skin tone and his lips and his features? Didn't you make fun of his height? Huh? Didn't you make fun of his class position and his income or lack thereof? Didn't you do that? Yep. And we have it documented. Kim Foster, we have your words documented. We have Yanni's words documented. We have Paris' words documented. Huh? We have Cynthia G's words documented. Khadijah tried to say her crap in a cutesy way. We have Khadijah's words documented. What y'all talking about? Huh? We have all of your words, not all of them. Take that back. Rewind. But we have y'all words documented, black women. No more talking crazy about black men and then run into white society to sanitize it for you and shut us up. Nope. Right? We have y'all words documented, people. Dark Vulcan said the stutter kills me. You ain't even hear my whiny voice yet, boy. We want to be rich white women too. That's what all of this boils down to. And Miss Kim Foster, I just wish you would just come out and say it. All your class talk, all your education talk, all of your when you was going at the passport bros, these other women are not on my, we're not playing the same game talk. All of that is, we want to be upper middle class and rich white women too. Why do they get to have all the fun? That's all it is. And I always say, you let women of color speak long enough. This is not exclusive to black women. And eventually you're going to end up first under the white man's scrotum. Secondly, in green with envy land because they're that envious of upper middle class and above white women. You let them talk long enough, I promise you we're going to end up there. Latinas, black women, East Asian women, not so much because they working, right? South Asian women, you let them talk long enough. So yeah, Miss Foster, we're gonna keep on covering all these times you try to act it. It's interesting listening to her speak about fresh and fit and had no smoke. Boy, Cynthia G was walking around here like she was 8 feet tall. All of y'all were scared. Hey, no one wanted to smoke with Cynthia G. None of y'all wanted the smoke for Cynthia G. Y'all let a white woman. Kim Foster, you not connected? Didn't you do the interview with the white? I watched that interview you did with the white young lady years ago. Y'all knew what Cynthia G was saying, and you were quiet. You know what it is for black women. Oftentimes, they agree tacitly. Yes, we already know that. But even when they disagree, see, when it comes to issues about love, relationships, and intimacy among between black men and black women believe that black women should be able to talk as crazy and as reckless as humanly possible about black men when they're quote unquote heartbroken. So where you would be in the barbershop talking reckless about black women, and a brother put you, hey, bro, you can't be saying all of that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Black women let other black women talk all the time because I understand her pain. I wouldn't say it, but I understand her pain. I get it. Right? This is why you see black women that come from a-holes, feminists, straight turnout, anti-black male, misandrist, right? Women that have good relationships with their brothers, good relationships with their uncles, good relationships with their fathers, right? They have good relationships with the men in their lives, but yet black men ain't ish. First, the environment primed y'all to say that. But secondly, I understand where she's coming from. I understand her pain. Right? And y'all gotta be honest, like most of your misandry is because you can't get or keep the type of men y'all find attractive. You resent those men, I don't know, for liking what they like. Right? You resent those men for liking what they like. Kim Foster is just from a long line of black petite bourgeoisie women whose advocacy is really only for other black women in her position, although she claims to have some solidarity with other black women. No, your advocacy benefits pretty much other women in your position, whether they be single or not, whether they be in interracial relationship or not, whether they're right. It's women in your own class position. Because you definitely ain't helping working class black women who need that other income. You definitely don't got no advice for them. Huh? You definitely don't have no advice for them. Other struggling black women, working class, working poor black women, oh yeah, you don't have no advice for them. None that's gonna be beneficial. You know, get with the black man and make it work. Hold on to him for dear life. Oh no, your pride won't let you say nothing like that. Nope, nope. Even though we're finding more and more data that says that's actually the solution, but what does Mr. Z know? Because you know, you told us that we don't know how to read the data right. Right. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Ishmael says, and thank you for the super chat, for causing me to burst into laughter, scare, scaring the hell out of my colleagues just now. No longer Mr. Z. It's unarmed violator. V for violator. Mr. V. I think you meant to say Mr. V for violator. Hysterical. What was I saying that that shook them? Right. But yeah, so that's all it is. So we have that next subject, right? Um, and shout out to Waz, my fellow Haitian brother, on TYT with Francesca. And they're speaking about the oh yeah, Gen Z, right? And it seems like young millennials and their rising asexuality. So with I had this conversation with a person actually this weekend. One of my coworkers, white and Mexican mix. So he calls himself a tall Mexican, right? So he's mestizo. He's like 6 feet. I think he's 6 feet, 6 feet one or whatever. Around my same age, a couple years younger. He went to a burlesque show, in the downtown area of our city, and he was around a bunch of early 20-something-year-old white kids that had money, and you know what they were doing at the burlesque show? Not throwing the money. Right? You know what you're supposed to do at a strip club or burlesque show, or like and the DJ, like Sid before the show. You know the rules. Don't touch the girls, obviously. Throw the money. Show tip these women for their talent and have a good time. 3 very simple rules. Obviously, somebody touched one of the girls. Duh. So that was gonna happen. And my boy said the dude, not black, thank God. She kneed him in the face, and then he got handled and thrown out. Obviously, next, but the young people weren't throwing the money, and they had it. They had money. This is like a middle class crowd, right? A little bit of upper middle class, but middle class crowd. They had the money. They had $15 drinks in their hand. And he was like, all the little white girls, it was mainly a white crowd, obviously. They just don't get it. And I'm having this conversation with him, and I said, yeah, but you have to understand the era we grew up in. We literally grew up in the strip club music era, where the song was telling you to throw the money. We grew up in the Make It Rain era. Is what I was telling him, right? So it's very interesting that me and him had that conversation yesterday, actually, funny enough. And this video dropped, right, from TYT. So I agree with Waz to a certain extent. I agree with Francesca to a certain extent. I do think there was some very hypersexual things going on in the media for a while now. But I don't think that the young people are saying, okay, you know what? This is too much, and we want to reel it back to something more wholesome, and we want to see, more close relationships with friends. Even though they said that, I think these young people ain't having sex, because they're not. I think many of these people's parents sheltered them way too much. I think internet porn has, it's taking the it's how am I gonna say this? Let's just say the men are not so hot and bothered to go after the women. We'll say that, right? And many of the new social norms for women that are ever changing. Yeah, porn desensitized them. This is also true, GC, right? Many of the new social norms also get in the way. The Me Too movement, street harassment, right? all of these things kind of get in the way, and you even have sociologists saying, we haven't really socialized our young men to kind of how to pursue women without it being awkward, without you being a stalker. What's the new rules, right? So what Waz was saying, I agree with him in that respect, where it's, many of these kids, they're not in intimate relationship. These young people, not even just kids, because it was young adults also, right? So we're watching the population go down, and what you see is Gen Z are, a lot of this is going to be even worse than millennials, right? And we're using these things to essentially sedate the men, right? And in a weird way, the women are in this weird spot. It looks like they are both angry, depressed, and what's that other word? I just had it too. Huh. Angry, depressed, and indifferent, right? How can you be all three, Z? Figure it out, right? And so what Waz was saying, I agree with, but I get where Francesca was going, where, there was a whole lot of sex scenes in TV, but once again, what's a sex scene when you could pull out your phone and get onto any one of these adult film sites, right? What's a sex scene? And Waz was being, somewhat of comedic relief also in that segment, but he was speaking in a way that I think we should consider. I think we're putting the bar for intimacy way too high. Now, for those of us who have sisters and nieces and daughters, we don't want the bar to be in hell. You don't want your daughter or your niece to, give it up to any guy that shows her any little bit of interest. No, we don't want that either. What we don't want is for the bar to be in hell and you looking to be a granddad one day and your daughter 50 talking about, right? We don't want that either. I think we have to socialize the young people that sometimes it's going to be awkward. And sometimes you're going to put your foot in your mouth. And sometimes the other person is going to put their foot in their mouth. Right? And sometimes, talk about grace, Kim Foster. Sometimes you might have to give the person just a second chance, a little bit of grace. But that's not where we're socializing now, is it? And I think those young adults that they interviewed and those teenagers, I think that's a prime example that we are not socializing our young people for intimate relationships with the opposite sex, not platonic. I think the way we're socializing our young people is to kind of, sort of, somewhat be okay with being single and lonely, right? Because all of this weirdo language I hear coming from these people, are you really doing that much work? Are you really studying that much? Are you really that preoccupied with work and trying to get your promotion and trying to be the, right? This is a good one, though. This is a good one. No, they're socializing perfection and unrealistic expectations about certain interactions. Exactly. Thank you, Nema. Exactly. Especially among the young women. I want us to go back to the Aziz situation. For those of you who don't know the comedian Aziz, a few years ago, there were some people trying to essentially put him in the Me Too category and got struck down even by other white women who were like, yeah, no, this was just a bad date. And so Aziz goes out on a date with a young lady. They go to the restaurant and he seems a little antsy and they rush back to his place and they make out. And I think they give each other fellatio or whatever. At least I know apparently he did to her. I think they said she did to him too. But when it was time for, the main event, she didn't want to. Fine, cool. He said, all right, cool. Then he asked again. No, fine, cool. Then she got a little annoyed eventually, and then he called her Uber and then left. And he called her the next day, hoping everything was okay and whatever, whatever. And then later on, this article comes out, essentially trying to slot him into the Me Too category. And really, it was just a bad date. But I suspect, and I'm pretty sure it was a white woman. Put money it was a white woman. That she thought she met a square ass Indian cat, and she had notions of playing this Indian cat, right? Cunnilingus for her, fellatio for him. I know, right? And it didn't turn out that way. Because what y'all don't know, and I watched Aziz stand up forever ago. This stand up was forever ago, where he said like he's an R. Kelly fan. Now, before we get into the pedo talk and whatever, whatever, but he's an R. Kelly fan, which means he's an R&B fan, which means that he gets his freak on, right? In other words, he's not as square as you think, Miss Probably White Woman. And so you played out whatever scenario in your mind. It didn't go the way you wanted. You had a little journalist friend. Y'all tried to hit him with this hit piece, and it didn't work. And even other white women, senior white women, were like, "No, no, just bad date." This doesn't go into the Me Too category. I'm bringing that up in this conversation to say we have these ideas of this perfect situation, and when we say we, I don't actually mean XY chromosome, right? And if it doesn't go as planned, we're quick to turn it off, right? We're quick to dead it. And I I am adamant that we did not socialize young millennials, but definitely Gen Z. We did not socialize them for intimacy. We socialized them to be good little cogs in the wheel, right? To be hyper individualistic, to be self absorbed, right? I won't even say social justice warrior because they're actually not much of it is just a flex. And then you get to where we are now. Let's see, these people are still young. They're still young. But let's see. Because I would argue Gen Z, if you think the birth rate is in hell now in the US, watch as Gen Z slowly becomes 30 and 35 and 40, right? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I argue that Generation Z, we have not socialized them for not just intimacy, we have not socialized them for much of any type of interaction, personal, real interaction, and all the ugliness that comes with it, and how that's okay, right? Oh, Trail, right? Trail says, "Don't rock the boat, don't tip the boat over." It's a perfect song for this, actually, right? Only when you realize what the song is really about. Good point, line. People are being socialized not to even know how to conduct themselves in a relationship, right? And Namus says, don't forget that the views on sex and sex education has created some level of confusion in these young people, depending on the state they went to school in, be it liberal or conservative. Fact. And you become a young adult. And yes, you need to make your way in this world and you're going to stumble, as we all have. But that social awkwardness, huh? We'll pause on this conversation. I'll revisit that because I think that's a conversation I need to have more when I bring y'all up on the panel. Next, I found out the brother's name that I was speaking about that was on Obsidian channel the other day, and he was speaking about the black women in the DMV area and them, listening to the Shira Sevens and the Cynthia G's. It's mental agility. If anybody could get mental agility to send me to email me so I could set up an interview with him, because I would love to find out how the dating scene is and what, like BGS is in the headquarters, right? At headquarters of the country, right? Because the brothers and the sisters in the DMV, especially that DC area, like that's our political thinkers. That's even if they're not the movers and shakers, much of them are staff to the movers and shakers, right? So if you're staff to whoever, Maxine Waters or whoever, right? Bowman, whoever, Booker, name them. If you're staff to them, especially the female congresswomen, the black women, female congresswomen, if you're staff to them and you're listening to Cynthia G and Shira Seven all day, and Chrissy and Yanni all day, what does your advocacy for black men look like? Uh-oh. Huh? What does your advocacy for black men look like if you listen to Shira Seven and Cynthia G and Chrissy and Yanni and Paris? What does your advocacy for black girls and women look like? Shout out to those women that got that money from Goldman Sachs. Uh-oh. Exactly, GC. Shout out to the people saying the internet isn't real. And I think I gave FD signifiers something to think about when I said that. Like, these people are like DC and in Hollywood. The people that listen to these people. The people that listen to Chrissy, like, I don't know why we think like these are just like we're finding out more and more. Some of these teachers, some of these attorneys, obviously therapists, right? Cheryl said, "Why are they listening to policy wonks? Where are their foreign affairs news, bruh?" I think outside of like the Susan Rices and the Condoleezza Rices of the world, you'll be hard pressed to meet many black women who really can speak about foreign affairs, international politics, international news. I think you'll be hard pressed to, yeah, right. I don't think that's not, you know, that's not their thing. But it's good that now that we're here, and occasionally these women will say these content creators' names. They'll say it. Chrissy thinks she was hyping herself up by saying, "Look, these women on TikTok are shouting me out, and I listened to Chrissy, and it made me feel like this, and it made." I'm like, "Oh, you don't realize what you're doing, huh? Huh? Who was it that said it in the comments once?" And I read that comment also. When Paris Milan posted the picture with that $2,000 goddamn dinner receipt, that one of the young ladies in her comments was like, "What do I got to do to get a man to do that for me?" or something along those lines. Yes, this has real world consequences. The Shira and exactly, and like a mental agility said. Once again, shout out to that brother. You hearing them say sprinkle, sprinkle. As a matter of fact, didn't we watch the Y'all give me a second. Yeah, didn't we watch the? My apologies, y'all. Didn't we watch the clip where the brother walked up to these women coming, like they looked like they were about to walk onto the beach, looked like they were leaving the back of a hotel, right? And they, he caught them and he was interviewing them, and one of them said sprinkle, sprinkle at the end. Well, I need a man that earned 150, and the other one said similar and whatever. And then the girl said, the young lady, well, woman said sprinkle, sprinkle at the end. Real life consequences. While FD signifier makes it seem like it's just one or two random black women. Y'all have no idea who's listening to who, right? Who's listening to who? Cheryl says 2,000 dinners reserved for 20th anniversary and after 3, 4 kids. Nah, the apparently Nigerian husband is over here forking over $2,000. I don't even know if they've been married a year yet. He's forking over 2,000. It was $1,900, right? Sprinkle, sprinkle, right? The internet has real life, social media has real life consequences. And it's interesting, these people get it because then you have the Kim Fosters talking about, oh, they communicate with each other through memes. Yeah, you ain't saying nothing about Cynthia G though. Now have you? Y'all ain't saying nothing about Shira Seven. Y'all ain't saying nothing about black women starting to mess more with the occult and witchcraft and all this other stuff. Y'all ain't saying nothing about white women, the take, right? Mainly white feminists, a white feminist perspective, they even tackled some of this stuff that women in general are on. But not the Kim Fosters. Nope. Right? So yeah, this has real life consequences. These conversations have real life consequences. And these content creators are, you want to talk about radicalizing Kim Foster? They're radicalizing these women. And so, for the most part, from women, you're not going to see women running up in buildings, shooting things up. Although I think that's going to happen eventually. Eventually. What you're going to see from radicalized, particularly black women who have been radicalized against black men, is HR managers being extremely harsh on attractive black women and on black men in general. Black women supervisors speaking reckless to their black male employees, right? And to the women that those black men find attractive. What you're going to see is potentially an uptick in, let's call it the finale of a relationship, or a relationship ending in the worst way at the hands of a black woman. That's the better way to say it, right? Right? That's what you're going to see. What you're going to see because of social media is an uptick in these weirdo relationships, like the one between what's this African sister and the white dude, and how they broke up and they both talking crap about each other, and right, the one that's a model and she used to be married to this dude and whatever. You're gonna see an uptick in those relationships ending horribly. Oh yeah, but and Samuel Norton says it frightens me that some of the level up creators are pushing, escorting, and sugaring to young girls, placing young black girls in danger. But I will say this: creators that I tend to review, they not going there with it for the most part. I'm not talking about the Shira Sevens. I don't listen to her that often, but like Chrissy and Yanni, they ain't going there with it. Paris, she ain't going there with it necessarily. I will say that, right? Now they'll tell you to get with a white dude, especially Chrissy. They'll tell you to get with a non-black dude all day, every day, right? Especially a white dude, but they'll tell you to go swirl it up and divest it up and keep on trying and keep on trying and keep, because we gotta wage this war against black men. We gotta throw in their face that I'm in a relationship with a non-black man, ha 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 ha, and he paying bills and he taking me out, right? They'll do that, but the sugaring thing, I don't really hear them saying that. I'll say that. Not, at least not the women I tend to review, right? Now, are there content creators who are pushing that? Yes, absolutely. And once again, it's what happens when you don't critique the system, really, when you only have critique and insults and whatnot for black men. So when you only have insults for black men and you don't critique the system, you don't actually realize how much you've allowed the system to make you view human beings the way rich capitalists do, as resources, right? You've commodified other people. You're viewing men through the lens Milton Friedman gave you, through the lens Frederick Hayek gave you, right? Through the lens Ayn Rand gave you, through the lens Ronald Reagan gave you. right? And when you commodify men and relationships, both platonic and intimate relationships, when you view men and masculinity, men, excuse me, when you view men and masculinity, couldn't get that one out, right? When you view men and masculinity through a neoliberal lens, well, you end up where you are now, Chrissy. Yanni, like Yanni said so much when she said, "I want to be a kept woman of leisure," right? Decenter men. What's the incentive? You don't realize how much you saying by saying what's the incentive. If I can't have a baller, I'm already good financially. I earn six figures myself. If I can't have a dude that earns even more than me, that makes even more than me, that has more money than me, even although, right, even though we're only 50 years out of Jim Crow, and I'm expecting black men to be where white men are, and not even all white men, elite and rich white men. You're saying a lot, Yanni. When Chrissy makes fun of women that are in 50-50 relationships financially, and when these other women are online are speaking about women muling, right? Imagine that, muling for black men. Y'all are saying a lot, right? And we're the ones that don't understand the weight of our words, right? Okay. And I think, yeah, Detroit, and this is true. And Detroit says, what's more crazy, you got these 25-year-olds and under spewing rhetoric from divestors and starting channels about how to get a white man after they've been ran through while losing their virginity. Bruh. And I can't remember who it was, listening to like a 21, 22-year-old, somebody super, a woman super young, speaking all type of crazy about black men, and you're like, did you really get your heart broken, or are you just taking in, right? And I think one of my first videos, right, pre-records, was on this type of thing, where it's like, young people, don't let those of us over the age of 30, over the age of 35, don't let us and whatever we got going on or don't have going on, don't let it jade you in your intimate love life, your dating life, your sex life. Because Chrissy is just a little bitter, angry, dark-skinned black woman. Yanni is just out here doing her thing for the money, right? Yeah, I remember Chris Logic. Yeah. Yes, absolutely, right? Paris is the biggest faker out of all of them, right? As evidenced by her own life. Paris ain't grew up in no struggle. From my understanding, her dad was a part of her life. Paris ain't suffered no serious heartbreak like that. She ain't really dark skinned like that anyway. She not dark skinned. She found her lane. She made money off of y'all. She married her a well-to-do Nigerian cat, right? So she sold y'all the soap and didn't even use it. So this internet thing is real. This internet thing is real, y'all. When that brother Mental Agility said, you know, you could tell by some of the things they say, and he's right. Some of the things these women say, you're like, wait a minute. Sounds like some Chrissy talking points, right? Shira 7 talking points. It was good that we saw that random lady, and she's not even young like that. You're on a what vacation with three other black women. Y'all got no goddamn man. Talking about sprinkle, sprinkle. Apparently, it's not working. What they said? A man, $150,000. Okay, I need to know where all of these baller ass dudes are. White, black, Latino, or otherwise. Where are all these baller ass dudes? Sprinkle, sprinkle, man. Right? And this is true. They in Telescope says they co-sign the BS because one, they enjoy the sense of camaraderie, even if it's false. True. Two, they're more afraid of the reprisal from black women than black men. I agree with this 100%. Y'all agree with this 100%. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm about to drop the link, y'all. But yeah. So those are the three things, and we could do a weekly wrap up. Anything that I've spoken about over the past week or so, y'all want to bring up, we can have that conversation. But yeah, it's just absolute insanity. For real, Indigo. For real. It is like it's one of those things that's just like a black woman thing, and like I'm okay with black women having their space, having their own words and whatnot, right? That's perfectly okay. But understand the second y'all take that out of your little black woman landia sphere, whatever, everybody else looking at y'all like, what? And if you're okay with it, we're okay with it. But uh, craziness. But yeah, I'm glad that mental agility said that, because it's true and it only proves what we're saying. And remember, these are supposed educated black women, DC, in the DMV area, right? These are educated black women using the rhetoric of Shira 7, Cynthia G of all people, right? Hmm. And Detroit says the same Chris Logic was reacted to Kevin Samuels when Indian dude was reacted to her. Indian name Ruby Zainame was frightening about her and other black women. You ain't seen nothing yet. What happened is, it seems as if they either go scorch earth with the rhetoric or they run to white zaddy with the rhetoric, right? They run to white zaddy. And when y'all hear me say they run to white zaddy, just anybody, any white person of authority, any group of white people with authority, right? Or any non-black people, but mainly white people with any sort of authority, so they can use that to flex on black men and shut black men down. Or they go scorch earth. They go just absolutely nuclear with the rhetoric. and clearly is detrimental to black men, but even to other black women. And I'm gonna do a review of a couple of interviews I've watched where even black children, other black girls, young black girls and black boys, the children, other black women, obviously black men, right? And the link is there we go. Give me 1 second, y'all. Pretty sure. Okay. What's going on, Emma?
Who is a man that risked his neck for his brother man?
What's up with you?
You there? Well, actually, I'm kind of confused tonight because
Hmm.
well, first of all, Halloween is tomorrow,
Hmm.
and I was hoping like every other year I go out of Samuel Jackson just cuss motherfuckers out, right? But unfortunately, it's been snowing since last night, so I'm thinking I might as well have to be going out as
Oh,
a black Inuit or a black
it's
Eskimo.
snowing in Norway. Already.
What else is? It's snowing already, but
Right?
it's gonna be expecting sleet later this week. But oh, by the way,
Okay, okay.
yeah, we keep forgetting to do that every now and
Right,
then. Fuck everybody.
right.
Yeah, I'm hearing the
But
echo
yeah,
on my end.
yeah, man. Are you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trail said the same thing. No, I haven't moved. I wonder. Are you guys still getting an
Oh
echo?
shit.
Shouldn't be.
Well, no, it's me when I talk.
Okay.
Well, must be a
Yeah,
signal
no,
thing
because
because satellite adjustment shit.
yeah, I don't know, but it does sound
Yeah,
like you're in a
that's all.
hallway though. It doesn't. You don't sound far. It just sounds like you're in an area with like some open space, with some wide open space.
That's funny because I'm using my headsets and yeah, it's a Bluetooth headset setting I got on. Wait, let me take out echo.
Yeah, GC exactly. And GC says privileges of living where people vacation, no snow. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Although
How's that now?
no snow, but then you got to worry about like hurricane force weather
Wait,
over
wait.
here.
See, you're
Oh no,
Borging.
you sound
See,
better
you're
now.
Borging. Yeah, but you were Borging for a
Am
moment.
I? What about now?
You were Borging for a
What
moment.
about now? What
You're
about
good
now?
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah,
Um.
that's
First of
crazy.
all, what's the face? Who has a Nigerian husband? First of all, how do you know
Hmm.
you're the only wife?
Oh, well, I mean, I think he grew up here though. I think.
I would say Mr. Zit.
Hmm.
And yet, to all West African people who must say by what I'm saying, understand I'm from the other side of the continent, so it is what it is.
Hmm.
But Mr. Z, some people can be very suspicious. They're not always what they are, because remember the custom and culture they come from.
True. True.
So,
But no, I think no,
for
I
all we
think
know, she might be not really the wife, she might be just a side chick overseas or some shit like that.
no, she's
And they
here. But I
also
think
have polygamy in certain cultures.
true. But I think no, I just think she's the ultimate grifter. We you know it was
Could you repeat
known
that
that
for the
she.
motherfuckers in the back?
I just think she's the ultimate grifter. We knew she was with
Mm-hmm.
this guy for a while, but like the way she was going in on black men, and then she ended up marrying this guy, hiding it for a little while, almost a year. No, no, I'm exaggerating. For a few months, and
Uh-huh.
apparently she was going to be exposed, and like she just came out and told her audience, her subscribers, right?
Yeah.
But it goes to be frank with you, I don't know why she act like why this idea that she couldn't be a hypocrite and still produce her content. Look, the black women that listen to you, Paris, they're gonna listen to you no matter how hypocritical you are. You got to be like next level. But you marrying a black man and still talking crazy about black men, they don't care about that, but they just want to get off on hearing a person talk crap about black
Uh-huh.
men.
Yeah.
So you could
I
marry
mean,
one, you could have children, you could turn around and have a black son, and you know they don't
yeah,
care.
like the Iron Bangs mess. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
not
they
go
don't
there.
care. All they want is the rhetoric. They just want the highs and lows of hearing crap about black men.
Well, the ends
and that
justify
is
the means, you know?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, furthermore, who remembers Issa Rae Diop from Insecure? Insecure. She's
Insecure. I
married.
didn't want. Oh wait, who?
Issa Rae.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, she. Oh yeah, she did get married. She did get married. She did get married.
Her man is her
Yeah.
longtime partner, but he's
Uh-huh.
full blood Senegalese, but he was like partially born and raised in France.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Upper class and some shit
Yeah.
from what I understand. Because remember,
You
she's
see?
half Senegalese, half Adolf, just like what's his name, Gaboura Sidibe, aka Precious.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
Gabourey because her real name is Gaboure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually just watched something on what's her name?
Describe
That
her.
apparently
What have we
just
seen her?
broke up with her boyfriend, homegirl from 12 Years a Slave. Yeah,
Oh,
that broke up with her
Lupita
boyfriend.
Nyong'o.
Yeah, Lupita. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Canadian and
Yeah.
Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah. How you look like that and you can't keep a man though? I'm just saying.
She's fine, but the thing is, like, in my case, I couldn't bring her home.
Yeah.
No, it's not because well, partially colorism, but more importantly because she's not of my ilk. So my
Yeah.
parents would say, she's from a different tribe, different culture. It might be a bit of a problem for you.
No, but no, no. The thing with Lupita, I don't think that's her real. I think this is the thing. We have to, and I want to see how feminists grapple with this.
Hmm.
We got to be honest. Women get money, and like their dating pool actually shrinks. Like
Hmm.
I said it the other day, and we all know it. I'm preaching to the choir. You give a man $1 billion, he gonna have a wife, a few side chicks, random kids he's paying for to and shutting the mom up so that the wife don't find
Shut the
out.
baby mama up.
You know what I'm saying? Like exactly. Like you know what?
Shh, shut the fuck
You
up.
give men money. You give men money,
Hmm.
and they're Elon Musk, right? Their future. They're Nick Cannon, right? You
Yeah.
give women money, and they're I don't know
Here's
who
another
I
thing.
want to use. They're Vivica A. Fox. They're Claudia Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mary J. Blige.
they're Holly Berry, Mary J. Blige. Like you know,
Shamor, Sherry Underwood.
and then eventually they become what's her name out of off of that cop show that end up marrying another woman. What is her name? You know what I'm talking about.
Describe her
Somebody
for me.
gonna
Where
say
have
her
I seen
name.
her? Where else? Cop show.
She's
You
short.
gotta,
She's short and shaped like a number 8, and she got lips for days. You ain't never seen DSLs like you seen these DSLs. Um, what is her name? Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Regina
Not
King, Regina Hall.
not Oprah. Not hell no, not Regina Hall. Regina Hall's still fine. Um, I just said her. What is her name? She was on that
Describe her.
Reno.
Where else have we
Was it
seen?
Reno 911? She was on. Was it Reno 911? What cop show was she on? The funny cop show. Niecy Nash. Thank you, Trell. Niecy Nash. Thank
DC.
you, Detroit. Niecy Nash.
Oof.
Niecy
Oof.
Nash married another woman.
Hey, I'll give you another example. Now, fuck everybody who used to clown my ass
Hmm.
for liking Michelle Cello with that bald head.
Let me see
Because
who you're
when I
talking.
saw Chris Rock's good hair, I was vindicated.
What
But
is her name
she
again?
openly
Michelle
busted
who?
Michelle Cello, bald chick, used to play the bass.
Wait a
You
minute.
ever heard of a song called "If That Was Your Man, If That Was Your Boyfriend, It Wasn't Last Night"? She did a collaboration with
Yeah,
Queen Pen as well.
I'm looking. Wait a minute. Oh no, she alright.
Yeah, but she's bi. I've mentioned her before. I've
Huh.
mentioned her before. She's
Okay.
bi, and she got married
Yeah.
to a woman like a few years ago.
Hey
Hell,
man. Hey, that's how it
she
goes
was in a
sometimes.
relationship with Alice Walker's daughter.
She was going with Alice Walker's daughter.
Rebecca Walker.
Ah.
They were in a relationship. In fact, there's a song that me and X had
Pause
shared.
right there, Naima. Pause right there. Alice
Uh,
Walker, you didn't see what you done did. I didn't know her daughter was same-sex loving, and it makes so much
her,
sense. Oh,
no,
it makes so much
her
sense.
daughter is a switch hitter.
E-
She's married to
I
a
don't even
man.
know what you're saying. Either way,
She goes both ways.
I know what you're saying.
No.
I'm saying I don't. I'm purposely saying I don't know what you're saying because for me, once you go both ways, you're the other way. Like that. There's no. I don't even know what both ways mean. I respect people's
Well, it's
sexuality.
kind
If
of
you
like
tell me that, I will respect it. But in my mind, that just means you play for the other team. That's all it means, right?
Sorry. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you got people who are like ambidextrous and left-handed people look at them sideways when they start doing things right-handed, besides doing much shit left-handed. But then again, let's not forget Alice Walker was involved with Tracy Chapman for a while.
Look, man. Like I said.
But it is what it is. I'm not surprised. It was a relationship for Niecy Nash.
Hmm.
It was a relationship out of convenience, for all we know. Just like the brat was kept her shit under wraps. Then she came out and said, "Yeah,
Stop. 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 The brat.
oh man,
We oh look, man. Come on, man.
we all knew the
Kept
brat
the brat kept what under wraps? Ta-da! I'm gay.
got married and had the baby."
What does that even mean, man? That's like your gay cousin that you knew was gay since y'all were toddlers. Talking about he gay when y'all like 30. Nigga.
That reminds me of a friend of mine's stepsister. She came out and we're like, we already knew.
It's like what do you? There is no coming out party. There's no coming out,
You were evidence since
right?
since
Like
back in
you
the
you
day, you know.
you mean you're confirming it to yourself,
We knew it was
right?
all right. We used to tease you
Come
about it,
on,
but it was all right.
come on, man. Either
I mean, like,
way,
yeah. But
I,
anyway,
I'm still I'm still mad
go
that
ahead.
LL Cool J and Queen Latifah didn't have a baby so that we could have the best NFL player in human history come from Queen Latifah and LL Cool J's relationship.
I'm
That was
sorry,
a dream of mine
but
since I was a kid. I mean,
no,
I
no,
was like,
no, no. The way
this
she's
nigga would be
built,
built like a goddamn Mack truck.
no, no,
Trucker.
no, no. You would have had like one of the best offensive linemen, maybe,
Man, have fun tackling this
not
one,
a running back.
right? God damn,
But then
that
again, she's from Jersey, he's from New York, he's from Queens.
they'd be built like a goddamn, I don't know, Hummer H1,
It could have been worse. Imagine if
right?
Redman and Faith Evans had a kid together.
I don't know, huh?
Light skinned a motherfucker.
Translucent.
I mean, they were bumping uglies back in high school. They went to high school together, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah, Faith Evans from Jersey. She was from New York, just like Reggie Noble. But anyway,
Man, but yeah, no, this
but
this. What do you think about what did I say? What do you think about? Oh, that's a good question to ask you. What do you think about the whole TY what TYT covered, what Waz and Francesca covered with the young people saying they want to see more platonic or like intimate friends stories in movies and whatnot, and they're speaking about they want to see more asexuality
Mhm.
in these movies, like asexual, like no romance type thing at
Okay.
all. Like that's crazy to me.
I can tell you first and foremost. Wait a minute, Z, I got some homework for you.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening.
Do you remember the woman? Do you remember the woman who put out the documentary, The Red Pill?
Yes.
Kathy
What
J.
about
Okay, before that, she put out two other documentaries.
her? Hmm.
Now, one was called The Right to Love. That was a whole, same-sex mixed marriage thing.
Okay.
But there was another documentary she put out called Daddy I Do, which talked about the whole uh, purity ring thing that.
Oh yeah. Yep. 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 Hmm.
Okay, that coincides with the whole thing about sex and sexuality because, like I said in the comment earlier about some of these people, they're also dealing with further confusion. Depends on where they were born and brought up, and where they went to high school, and what was the attitudes about sex and sexuality and the confusions. What kind of sex ed did they have, depending if it was a liberal area or a conservative area. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's usually. I mean, here I remember in the 2000s in the UK,
Hmm.
there was a woman named Anna Richardson. She had a show called the British Sex Education Show. In one
Okay.
season, they were going to secondary schools. That's what you all call what you all call high schools. They call secondary schools.
Okay.
They were going to various secondary schools trying to give children an accurate, realistic education about sex ed. I remember watching
Okay.
that show, and I remember another episode they were talking about, trying to stamp out the whole fixation on adult entertainment, triple X shit,
Mm-hmm.
and how that is skewing some people's perceptions on sex, sexuality, intimacy. I mean, people have been asking, talked about the Dutch model, comprehensive sex ed, being honest about it with these people, and they've also shown that
Yep.
children who've had to talk with their parents, although in some cases for some parents it's kind of awkward, children who have to talk with the parents are more likely to wait longer when they're ready because they need to understand, like, hey, what's going on? What's this, that, and the third? In my case, growing up in East Africa, they taught us that they were teaching us sex ed and telling us the importance of contraceptives. Unfortunately, the only contraceptives that were available was, the French raincoat, as we call it, or the Jimmy hat.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it wasn't available for
That's
people of a
crazy. In
certain
East
birth.
Africa, they were talking to y'all about that. That's what's up.
They had to teach us because
Mm-hmm.
since the 80s, they were dealing with HIV and AIDS and everything, and they were
Yeah. Yep.
understanding
Yep.
the impact because HIV is not just an STD; it also has a social impact,
Yeah.
which in
Definitely.
turn means a
Definitely.
economic impact as well, especially the
Yep.
death rates. And
Yeah. No,
they
that's
have
true.
certain, and depending on which countries you go to, they're going to have certain terms for somebody who's HIV positive. Like in Uganda, they say you got the slims.
What?
Yeah, if you
What is
got
that
HIV,
supposed
if
to
you're HIV
mean?
positive, because you become emaciated from HIV, not knowing that
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
certain
There we
strains of the
go. The
virus.
I knew it was gonna be
There's certain.
pejorative. I knew it.
In my case, if someone was HIV
Mhm.
positive, we used to call them a carrier. Having
Wow.
the conversation
It
in our native language, they say he's a carrier.
the way we say it, like in the well, at least in the South Florida hoods, and I don't hear it that much anymore because it's it's so offensive, but it's kind of it's like funny, but not really funny. It's like funny in a very morbid and messed up way. It's that
Hmm.
he got that die slow, right? Me,
Or
this mess is so
like if
messed up.
anybody remembers, or if you
My
remember Big L, Big L, he had a song from the album The
yeah,
Biggest
yeah, the
Picture
rapper Big
called
L.
Ebonics.
Yeah,
He had a song
yeah,
called
Big L the
Ebonics,
rapper.
and he
One
said,
of my
if you
favorite.
got AIDS, you got the germ.
Wow. No. The me my boy used to say that me and my boy used to actually. This is when we were way younger. We were way more offensive. He used to call it the Oh yeah, I definitely heard the package. That package, but Trail. Um. We used to
Shouts
call it
out to
that
R.
28
Kelly.
days
And
later,
she got the package, Rosie.
right? But we used to call it that 28 days later because of the movie 28 days later. And yeah,
No, not the fat foods.
the,
The chimps
to,
going ape shit crazy, or
right.
part
So
ape
like,
crazy, as like a city would say.
but no, it's really and I think technology and medicine and science have really um I don't know if the stigma. Let me take that back. The stigma is still there. Let's not get it twisted.
Still
But
there,
it's not what it was in the early '90s, man. I was a kid, like, and it was
especially
just,
it's
what is this thing that like everybody's scared of, right? So yeah,
especially with the whole advent of ARVs being what they are. But I remember in 2006, on the 21st anniversary of the discovery of HIV, Stephen Fry, the British comedian, he did a two-part
yeah.
documentary with BBC. In the second part of that documentary, oh, actually, in the first part of the documentary, young people, our age and younger, actually, second half millennials and Gen Zs, among the LGBT ones, some of them thought it was like a status symbol to have it, so they potentially try to
What?
contract it. It's called getting the gift, is what they said. One of them
What?
wanted to know what it's like. They thought it was it, but it's not. It's not. It's not. And in the second part, I remember he went to Uganda and other parts of Africa talking about that stuff. He even had an interview with like somebody who was born with HIV, and she was was the last of that group of children born with HIV who's still alive and would live on to have a child of her own healthily.
Mm-hmm.
He even talked to somebody who's suffering from AIDS, who talks about, the ARVs he has.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always effective because depending on, your DNA compared to the RNA sequence of the virus that you have, and the virus is going to continue to evolve, and they have to produce better ARVs to counteract that shit. Some people think, oh, if I contract AIDS, I still got ARVs. No, it's not like
Mm.
that. There's even a documentary called Fire in the Blood, which talks about the battle between AIDS activists in the developing world fighting against pharmaceuticals for cheaper generic versions to be available for people in the developing world.
Yeah. Yep. 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 But
Hey, what's
I
good,
mean,
Rakim?
yeah, I was literally about to say, what's going on, 18th? I don't think 18 saw me. Okay, he might be at work. But yeah, so okay, so what do you think about the Kim Foster thing? Name.
I don't
Hey,
even
what's
bother
going
with the
on,
Kim Foster
fellas?
thing
What's going
because,
on?
Oh,
oh,
there
what's
you go.
good?
There you go. What's going
There you
on,
go, man.
18th? What do you think about what I spoke about earlier? Go ahead. You could pretty much comment on however you want.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised when people trying to hold on to this BS rhetoric.
Mhm.
And you are absolutely correct, man. Cynthia G was walking around here like Debo.
Bruh, hey, all these content creators were spook. I mean, and I'm not just speaking about like that. Okay, there's like two sides of like the quote unquote black women empowerment. There's the Chrissy, Yanny, Paris, them side, like that kind of swirler, divester, black women in luxury, kind of side, that black women level up, lifestyle, whatever side, and then there's the more like quote unquote intellectual, mainly lefty side. That's the Khadijas, the Twee Noirs, the Kim Foster, the Julesies, the Nappy
Uh-huh.
Headed Hoba. There's that side, right?
Right.
Cat Black, even though Cat Black is trans, like that side
Ooh.
of the game. And so everyone, it didn't matter what side you were on, they were all, ain't nobody touched no Cynthia G. They were all, they were
Because
scared.
they knew
You
that
could
bitch was crazy.
what boy, ain't nobody wanted no parts of Cynthia G. Scary asses talking about y'all standing up for y'all don't stand up for black women or black men. Coward asses. Y'all ain't say nothing. Cynthia G was out here like you said, Debo.
Right. And
Was she
Right?
kind of like Lonnie Love in the talk?
Wait, say again?
Was she
You said she,
basically like Lonnie Love in that
yeah,
talk
yeah.
show she was part of?
Oh yeah, the real, yeah.
The real, yeah,
Y-
sorry.
Yeah, no, essentially, like like so exactly when the other women would try to say something and not talk crazy about black men, Lonnie Love would pretty much like Debo her way through it and be like, no, right? So yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah.
but
But yeah, what you were saying, 18, go ahead.
yeah, like and the funny thing about it, these dudes, man, that be trying to back up these misandrists, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
where do y'all like? How do y'all fit? Like, what does a black man look to you? A black man that's in position to lead? Because that's not y'all. If you're afraid of your own women, and you don't stand a chance against any of these other races of men.
I don't let me give you something to think about. I don't know how much black men are actually afraid of black women. I'm not saying that some aren't. I think a lot of this is and I use the word insatiable because this is the word that needs to be. I think it's for some it's an insatiable guilt because of slavery and Jim Crow. It's we weren't able to defend you during the transatlantic slave trade. We weren't able to defend you on this plantation. We weren't able to defend you during Jim Crow. And we are forever indebted to you because we allowed for you to go through that. I think for black men are put in a very interesting position where certain black men are trying to mirror one to one white patriarchy while also feeling this guilt about Jim Crow and slavery. So they
Mhm.
allow for black women to speak to black men all and speak about black men, speak to and about black men, all type of crazy because for them they feel like black men are deserving of that. because we're not rich as hell. We don't have some insane amount of power and influence, although we have influence. And we're not white men. We're not politically and socially white men. And for them, black women deserve to rant and rave and talk crazy and reckless because hey, it's our fault. We let ourselves get captured. We let them get captured, right? And then there's the ones that actually believe, we let them get sold into slavery by other black men, and then we let them get raped, and we let this happen to them and that happen to them, and we didn't defend them from this and that and Jim Crow and da da da. And now that we're quote unquote free, it's okay for them to talk to us crazy and talk about us crazy. And there, I would argue, a sizable portion of black men, that's really why they let black women talk the way they do. You know?
Give me
But you,
tea.
Yeah.
but you know what's crazy about that whole situation is that it was black men that gave up their lives to defend black women, even in that part of our history.
I agree with that. No, you're
It,
right.
it,
Yeah.
it was black men that was doing everything that they possibly can to defend to defend our women and defend ourselves. Now, when people want to say, "Oh, you all allowed yourself to be," we didn't allow anything.
Hmm.
We was outgunned by the
Yep.
equipment that they had.
Yes.
It's just that
Simple.
simple. But
Simple.
these but so, and the crazy thing is with some of these guys
Hmm.
is that
Yeah.
they'll sit there and allow that these women, and they know that these women are terribly wrong. I don't
Yeah.
know what type of guilt that they feel, but the fact of the matter is that like they're not doing anything to help the community, because if you're
No.
with these women that are putting down men that look like you, is if you don't have the numbers, you can't combat anything. You're
I
being
mean,
managed with
I
women.
don't know why you going at Boyce Watkins like this. Oops. But what did Boyce do to you,
Appreciate it.
18th? I don't know why you going at Boyce like this. Stop.
Well, he brought us the Baphomet incarnate. He brought us Sin
Thank
B,
you.
and he brought us Paris
Oh,
Milan.
Thank you.
And then to this day, he's still trying to talk about men. I'm like, boy, sit down somewhere.
Well,
I
Boyce
don't
to
want to hear
me,
anything you got to say about men until you address Paris Milan and you
no,
address.
he ain't. He is never, ever, right, gonna do that because I think that Boyce, hmm,
mhm.
Boyce was just looking for anyone that would write for his online, publication for the super cheap. And so this is where Cynthia G comes in. This is where Paris comes in. This is where Yvette Carnell comes in. This is where Michi comes in. This is where what Vicky Diller comes. There's a bunch of them that's either still there or that were there for a little bit and they have a fallen out, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think he really vetted, and I don't. There's a Boyce don't know how to vet. Period. That's number one and number two. Number three, Cynthia G and Paris Milan. Cynthia G first. Remember, she didn't necessarily start with this type of rhetoric. Same thing with Paris Milan. But when the bag was shown, right, and y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. When it was shown that this is where the money is, like this type of rhetoric is where the money is, oh, the women were there. Oh, they were there,
Let
right?
me just
So,
touch on that real quick, Z, with what you were saying. They was
go
there
ahead.
without us even realizing what was going on. It's like their content just changed overnight.
Yeah,
We didn't
yep,
even realize what was going on with the algorithm and the way YouTube changed its format and monetization. Chrissy started going extra hard. Once Paris and Chrissy buried their beef, she started going extra hard.
yeah.
And all of these content creators. And Chrissy did all of her stream vile insinuations in the in the early days and then deleted.
Boy, if 18th, if Cynthia G is Debo, Chrissy is Mayweather. Because boy, Chrissy know how to duck and dodge and bob and
You know
weave
what?
and put
No,
boy.
let me tell you
Woo.
something. Chrissy, if Cynthia G is Debo, Chrissy is Big Worm.
Ah,
Chrissy is Big Worm. Chrissy is somebody more deadlier than Debo. They not
yeah.
beating up on you with hands. No, Chrissy is shooting shots, but after she shoots shots, just like in Friday when Big Worm let
Hmm.
off shots on Craig and Smokey,
Mhm.
she getting the
Yeah.
hell out of there. Big Worm ain't
Yep.
sticking down.
Yeah. 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 True. True, true. And Indigo says, and this is hysterical. Indigo said, "We shit. I was born in '85, way after slavery and Jim Crow. Ah, but sir, you are held responsible for the sins of your forefathers, and your forefathers' sins was to not be the ones to go around the planet and rape and pillage and conquer and destroy to put black women where 20% of white women are, right?
In other words, we are forced to live an apology. Well, y'all
Yeah,
are forced to live an
yes.
apology. It's like if you cheat on a woman,
Mhm.
she does not want you to she's never going to forgive you. First of all, that's why you have to end the relationship and get the fuck up out of there.
Mhm.
If you try to apologize, she's going to try to make you suffer. Speaking of which, bringing it back to Lupita Nyong'o.
You wait. Pause for the cause. Pause for the cause. Are we
Let's
saying that we are the perpetual Will Smith and women are Jada? Are we saying that black women are Jada and I watched? Let me take this. Let me say this because
go ahead.
I'm gonna have to do a review of this also. Brianna Joy Gray had a brother on, and I've seen him on her show before. I've seen him somewhere else. I've seen him uh, other places
What does it
also. I
look
want to
like?
say, he might be even be an African cat. Like I'll you'll see it when I review it. You'll see a review because I don't know how to
All right.
necessarily describe his look, but he had an interesting take on Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. And
Mhm.
once again, like you have these, it's something about not holding women to task. These dudes will like intellectualize the hell out of like watching women in bad behavior and like the way they kind of like intellectualize black women's like bold ass horrible behavior. And it was an interesting take that he had, and I'm gonna review it. And man, like he pretty much said like, yo, like y'all putting way too much on Jada. Jada's only acting out because Will curated his entire life, including his relationship with her, and like yeah, it's just yeah, and essentially. He's like, and you see these kind of weirdo manosphere types like celebrating this as a way of showing like black women's pathology. Like this is the type of way he was speaking, and I'm like, bruh,
Mhm.
can y'all just say that women are never wrong in relationship to men and we could get the hell up on?
What
Like,
he doesn't want to admit is, first of all, like I've said, Jada is a narcissist, and but even if she's not a narcissist, to avoid accountability, women will engage in mental gymnastics, word
yeah,
salad. They're going to try to pin the blame on somebody else or whatnot. Patrice O'Neill talked about this on Black Phillip years ago, before there was a manosphere. And
bro.
like I said about the Pita Nyong'o, you want to talk about why she has problems with the men? If you remember when she was part of the cast of the original Black Panther,
Yes.
and they had like this press conference where there's like the whole cast was being interviewed, right? And she had Michael B. Jordan apologize, and at some point Michael B. Jordan got out of his seat, stood right in front of her, and did a push-up, if you remember. And she was like
I
pointing down.
I didn't see that. I didn't
I
see that.
remember this was when they were promoting the Black Panther movie.
Hmm.
It was like, what's going on? Oh, I owe an apology, some shit, like, was what he said. Like, she
For
owed
what
herself down
though?
push-ups. I don't know. They were just that was between them, and I was like, and you should have seen
They,
the look she had when he was doing it. She was like, she had this look of like a of this sadistic pleasure. It was kind of a smirk and a smile, like you like yeah, you better do it. You would like she had some sense of
and
entitlement.
you know what? That would have been a very interesting couple. That would have been
Oh
a
hell no.
very interesting couple if they would have got together.
I wanted to add
What?
to that really quickly to
Go
what
ahead.
you've been saying and how you've been breaking things down for these past live streams, Mr. Z. Do you
Hmm.
remember when Chrissy did a video called My Love is Conditional? And in that thumbnail, she had the black man holding up the world with the weight on his shoulders. And
I want to
Oh,
say yes.
it was the black woman that was it was a paint. It was a thumbnail of a painting. And in that painting, the
Yes.
man was holding up the weight of the he was holding up the whole
I've
world.
seen the painting before, but yeah. I think I want to say
mhm.
yes. Hmm.
Yes, that's the thing that gets me with and I don't know about a lot of other brothers, but I refuse that, man. You're not about to make me if I'm not going to bow down to white to white people as far as being ashamed to be a black man. I damn sure ain't about to bow down. No black woman is gonna make me feel ashamed.
Hey man, look. Indigo said, where's the comment? Can't live on my knees, my G. Nope, can't do it.
Right.
And for black women, it's for a lot of black. No, nigga, I'ma punish you forever because you ain't make me white. I'ma
18.
punish you, you niggas forever. Before you go, name it. Something else I want to and I'm don't lose your train of thought. Don't lose it. That shit's gone. That it's gone. It's gone. There you go. I waited too long. Go ahead.
All right.
That's also
18.
a lot of problems.
Oh yeah, after. Yeah, but real quick, let's actually let Lion go. Yeah,
Oh,
Lion and then name it.
Shout
Go
out
ahead,
to
go
the
ahead.
brother Lion. Shout out to Lion. What's going on with you, Lion? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, what's up, 18? What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm just noticing. I was gonna say, at this point, it's not even just the women; it's the men enabling this shit too.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of men
Agreed.
that's enabling this shit. Like there's nothing like you were just saying before, Z. I'm like, I don't know what is it with men's innate ability to not put any sort of blame on the woman, and it's just like I understand. Well, let me get this. I understand it. I just think is what y'all really can't break out of that for some reason. Like, why does a woman damn near have to commit murder for you to see it?
See, the problem with you, Lion, is you ain't no real man. Because if you're a real man, then you would understand that the way the women respond and react is all a function of what men do and don't do. See, your problem is you thinking like a little boy. These niggas is weird.
It's funny how you say it. Well, to that I would say, so let me get this right. So they do and say they act according to me. So how do you, so they're not capable of thinking for themselves. So you explain to me, how does that not come off the mentality of a child?
And you're way nicer than me because I would be like, so you're trying to tell me I can treat her like a child?
No, I mean that wasn't nice. I'm just saying. Tell me, how does that not come off as the mentality of a child?
No, you're saying no. You're right. No, that's what I'm saying. You're right.
And you know what, fellas? I just wanted to add this. You know what's the best analogy for this? Everything that we're seeing online is the same as like growing up in the hood. Remember how you would see those children getting physically abused in the hood by their mothers at the grocery store and all that? Nobody says nothing. No black men, no black women. Oh, that's not our business and all of that. Then when he grows up to be a fucking terror, then all of a sudden that's when, I don't know what's going on with this generation.
Yeah.
That's this exact mentality.
Right, exactly.
You mean like how certain white parents will have their kid on a leash? Like a damn German Shepherd?
20 years later, tonight on Channel 7 News, reporting from the Walmart that this person just walked in and killed like 5 people. Anyway.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not that guy to do that, like this whole generation, boomer versus millennial. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say Generation X and boomers are not responsible for some of this shit going on today. No.
Hey, what are you gonna quote Malika Andrews, Lion?
They do hold.
We must be remiss to this, that, and the third.
Yeah, no, but no, I mean, like, and GC says just gotta be more alpha, bro. They really think that, like, yo, if I was just way more alpha, right, then I wouldn't. Then women, black women specifically, wouldn't act the way they're acting. I'm like, bro, where y'all getting this from?
Actually,
translation.
There's a video I meant to send. I meant to send out. I think I sent it to Fantastic. I don't know if I sent it to Ed, but there's this video of this dude named Yari, and he's talking to this other joke because he's a traditional man, and this guy who I guess he's on 50-50 with his woman, and they're having a certain discourse. He's pretty much shaming him to death, saying he's not a real man because he's going 50-50. Pretty much like the crux of the conversation.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that, right? But my thing about this is, I'm looking at the traditional dude. I'm like, I don't think you understand what the hell is going on out here. I'm like, does he not understand that only 20%, of the marriage population, only 27% of women are staying home? That means the overwhelming majority of women are working.
Hey, Lion. Hey, Lion, not to interrupt you, brother. I just wanted to say, based off of that video that you was talking about, what people don't know about that dude was actually a member of BMF at one point, right? So that gave me a red flag right there. because
Oh,
Mm.
okay, this is a hustle for you.
mama.
This is a hustle for you. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a hustle. A lot of
Dude,
people are
BMF.
realizing that BMF Black Mafia family, Big
Yeah, yeah,
Meech.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yep, yep,
So
yep.
oh, bro.
Say no more.
he's done prison time and everything. So now that I see people preaching this type of rhetoric, I'm like, this is a hustle for you. You've seen the internet, you know what makes the women move on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
trying to jump into this business. And that's what's going on with a lot of these guys. Because I there's no way that you cannot believe. Because if it was a way to do things, you would have made
Uh-huh.
it, you would have made it shake without getting jumping into the streets.
But I
Yeah.
think it's
You would
deeper
It's
have
than
like
that with him. I think with him it's deeper than that. I think it's because I think a part of him really believes it, but it's also out of
Mm.
guilt because if you look at his past and that's what he did, he was, slinging dope and doing all that stuff. So now he feels indebted to his mama and the women in his life. So therefore he's using that as repaying that debt as a defining in his manhood. So it's really that
Mm.
it's a hustle, but it's also a deep seated guilt trip for him. So he
No,
thinks.
I really
So
do
he
think
thinks.
that.
So he's out
yeah.
here talking to other men, thinking that they should feel the same way. I'm like, no, nigga, we don't.
Yeah. No, it's.
While we're
I
at it.
think, and I think you have to also factor in
Mhm.
sh- that whole D boy era, that heavy like 80s, early 90s D boy era really screwed us up. Not just the actual act of selling dope, but all the like second order effects of that, the easy quote unquote easy money, the lifestyle that you was able to live for 2 3 4 years before you got caught, the
Yeah.
way the women saw that money come in, and then all the music and all the culture that stems from that,
But the thing
right? So
That's
about
the
that
which
reason
culture that
why.
killed me, but the thing about that culture that killed me, even if you
Mhm.
see it all the movies, how did all those dudes turn out?
Exactly.
Dead or incarcerated. I mean,
Yeah, but the
look at
important
50.
part with that is because women, and I'm sorry, Naaman, but we can keep on cutting you off. I'm right after this. You can speak. The problem with a lot of that is that's the men, but what the women saw was just the money, and so because everybody got a cousin or a nephew or a uncle that was in the streets and that we saw them pull up to grandma's house in the new range
With the
at
rims.
least once because we all were privy to that, or we all know somebody that was privy to that. That's 2 3 steps away in the black community, because that's a thing. The way it plays in our imagination even now, right? And I think the whole scammer thing just reignited some of that stuff all over again. The way that plays in our imagination causes us to have this very skewed view of money and of life
Yeah.
and of the building blocks, right? And how long it takes somebody to save for a house, and how long, for those of us that live a square life, your parents might not ever see a luxury car, and if they do, they well into their 50s and whatnot, late 40s 50s, when they finally could be like, all right, okay, I could now get the Benz I've been drooling over for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right, like, and
But you
Or
that's
the
know,
if they
Mustang or
ever
the
even get
Corvette.
there. Exactly, that's
or
if they even get there, right? Go
or
ahead.
if their parents,
Uh,
or if the kid, or if the children of those said parents get it for them.
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
That's most of the
right.
time how it happens.
And
if I
that.
may.
Go ahead, Naaman.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
You got it,
Mhm.
Nemo.
Yeah. 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 Ambassador. By the way, line in my mother tongue, line is ambassador. Learn that. Anyways, I
Oh,
was
what?
saying couple things I need to mention, get off my chest, and don't say what chest. I know I'm skinny.
Mhm.
Um, First of all, like we said, like there was that other, there's a like where what y'all said about a painting. I remember there was another painting I saw. It was on my Facebook feed. It was a female friend of the family, and it was basically a picture of a queen, a black queen, sitting in the king's throne, although her throne was right there next to his. And then I remember just commenting and said, "Woman, if you don't get off my throne, there's going to be some problems." And she replied by "Make me," and then we went back and forth but we were just jousting about that. Secondly, some people who genuinely have that collective guilt, and some cats who are simps, capable for these females. One best analogy I could use is a certain type of fish called an angler. That's that big ugly fish that has that like a little light bulb thing protruding from his head to draw things deep in the bottom of
Yes,
the
yes.
ocean.
Hmm.
That's a female. That's a female. The males are tiny compared to her,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
what they
I know what
do.
you're talking about. Yep.
But for the people in the chat, if I may complain, it's good. Let me
Hmm.
explain. The little males immediately have to swim and find a female in the dark, and then what they do is they burrow themselves into her side, and they end up becoming one. She provides the food, he provides her sperm, and sometimes, in some cases, you have multiple males fused to one particular female angler. It's just how they're bred and whatnot. And the whole thing about like women in apology, like I said earlier, it's a sense of growth in how those people were just like conditioned, the abuse they dealt with. And as far as the D boys and everything, I mean, movies like like what's his name, like how Dear Doughboy was portrayed by Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood, or if you
Hmm.
remember,
Boys in the Hood. Hmm.
the song 21 Questions by 50 Cent with him and what's his name, Tyson Bedford
Hmm.
in the music video. If you also remember the music video for 21 Questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But like I
it
said, like with the D boys and all that shit, just ask the question: where are all those dudes now?
and
Where
Six
are,
another
feet
thing,
under, incarcerated. Some, if they're lucky, went straight.
right? And another thing that not only is where all those dudes now, that those dude, and you were getting to this earlier line, those dudes did that because the environment was crap, because either parents didn't, those parents were born in the 60s and whatnot, and 50s, so they didn't really have much to kind of give these dudes,
yeah,
or you know pretty much the environment was ripe for that to be what these dudes engaged in, right?
yeah. The
So like,
majority without it was it was necessity because they lived right
exactly.
next to it.
Exactly. And
Like
that,
they lived a
and
block
what I
away.
don't like, and what I have a distaste for, is that we speak like that's not a thing, right? Like that, and you can have that view when you weren't the one with your life on the line, right? But my issue with a lot of these D boys is when they come back, like you were speaking to earlier, too, line. When they come back to the hood, let's say they served a 20 years, 25 years, now they talking all type of greasy to everyday square ass dudes. Bruh, I ain't touched no $100,000 in one sitting. I ain't touched no
Yeah,
20,000 $20,000 in one sitting. I didn't have 20 grand and give my girl 7, 8, 10 grand and be like, yeah, babe, go do what you want to do with that.
yeah. I'm not. This is not survival. Like you the one suffering from survivor's guilt, not me.
Ooh, good point. Good point. And that's
Don't
something
don't
I think
don't
that's going
project
on
your
too.
guilt onto like that's all it is. Don't project your guilt onto me.
Trell said it earlier in the comments. He said, former player. Where's that comment? He said, former player. There we go, right there. A lot of reformed pookies and guilt-ridden ex-players. Exactly. A lot of former pookies and guilt-ridden ex-players are the ones who are giving a lot of social commentary on these internets. And let's be honest, that you don't really appreciate. Like, what I love seeing, and shout out to Tone Talks. I love seeing when people have to grapple with what he's talking about when it comes to money. It be the funniest thing in the world, because they go onto his channel thinking they saying something, and then like he take their head off low key, or he Tone got no patience, so he'll cut them off and like
Yeah,
just explain the history to them or the numbers, and then like you could tell like they're like
yeah. They're just deer in headlights.
anymore.
Oh
That
shit.
whole
See.
Jordans and Weave thing, man. So like I'm saying
Yeah,
that to say, what we have is a whole lot of people that don't really understand the window that they came up in, and why they were able to move, and why they did the things they did. Like they understand, like, yo, this is, I really almost have no choice, and I that either way. Uh, but they don't really understand and pull with, they
yeah,
took from us. We're left in the hood with very few opportunities, factories gone, NAFTA, et cetera, right? like, all of these white people moved to the burbs, took opportunities. The only time you see them is when they driving from the burbs to downtown for the jobs, right? So like, which killed the public schools, which, and that puts you in a position as a child, black child in the inner city with few opportunities. It puts you in a position, and that's the situation you took.
Right.
But the
They can't even
outcome.
tell you. They can't even
Go
The
tell
ahead.
you.
environment wasn't conducive. Like it was
No,
different. It was a different environment then. The environment wasn't conducive for you to go straight or be a quote unquote square back then. That's why the Debo area was the Debo area. It's not the
exactly.
same anymore. Now it's
No,
like it's more conducive for you to go straight and go to school and more opportunities for you to do
exactly,
something straight. More
And,
opportunities
exactly.
to do something for yourself. You're in a totally different environment now. It's
right.
still
Yeah.
expensive as shit, but as far as you getting access to, to make some money, the opportunities are there. It's just,
You
Be-
know what kills me is when people act like everything was just so peaches and cream in the
yeah.
80s. Now we're seeing a lot of gentrification today, but
Hmm.
when people try to act like, oh, like, did you see the ghettos in the 80s? Did anybody see Detroit
Yeah.
and South Chicago and New
yeah.
York and
The
DC?
Absolutely
Bronx,
insane.
especially.
I'm a former New York native. It was
Right.
crazy.
Like, and people don't
Absolutely
think about that.
insane.
You're from Queens, right?
Even in the 90s. Even in the
Yeah.
90s. I was
Right.
born in 85, so growing up in the 90s, yeah, it was pretty
Hmm.
bad.
Bro,
Like,
and that's all it is. It's a lack of understanding about the environment and the time that these people like. It's always funny too. I actually got this was years ago, maybe like about 5 years ago. Went to lunch break. And I was privy to a conversation between this black man and two black women. They looked like they were like in their late 50s, early 60s. Um, and they were getting into an argument about something on news, and then they started talking about violence and in the hood, and I'm like, homicide and all that other stuff is like at a 40-year low. And the way they looked at me was like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't
mhm.
no, and I'm like, exactly. What ends up happening is y'all watch local news all day, and local news is nothing but a goddamn body count. And so it's hard for you to actually grapple with the fact that violent crime is at a 40-year low. Like
Furthermore,
you just
Bills
struggle with that.
going down. You got to
Yeah.
make 114 grand just to be able to afford a house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah. I saw that segment. I think I posted it actually. Go ahead.
or if you like, like I remember somebody once said, you gotta be rich in order to be poor to live it. You gotta be rich enough to live poorly in New York or some shit like that. But
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah,
Bro,
because it's
not
getting
being
expensive
that
as hell in
part
certain
of New
cities.
York.
I mean, take me for example. I never want to live in Oslo. I've been to Oslo a few times.
Hmm.
Reminds me too much of two certain cities where I used to grow up in, and I get some PTSD because large cities I get uncomfortable in those places.
Hmm.
But with the rising market and gentrification that's going on in some of these places, it gets too ridiculous that you got to go someplace else where it's more affordable. Also, the D boy era also did something really affected black men because the whole high school to prison pipeline
Yes.
back into that. Furthermore, a lot of older heads are not telling the young cats, yo, nothing cool about going to jail because if you're trying to turn your life around and go straight, more often than not, you're not going to get hired if they notice you got a conviction. If you got a rap sheet or something like that, they're more less
One
than
third
likely
of
to
black
hire
men
you.
are convicted felons.
That's why Akon had that song called Trouble.
Yeah,
And
man.
locked up.
Yeah,
Well, no, but
like
Trouble.
what?
No, Trouble, because
Yes.
he talked about life on the outside.
Yeah. No. I heard trouble. I heard you when you said it. I'm just saying, and locked up. Right. Like.
Oh,
Yeah.
To what you
Yeah.
were
the remix
saying,
was better with Styles P, but okay.
Yeah.
to what
My
you were
bad,
saying.
18. You got it.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, Lion.
No.
Lion.
I was saying you got it. You got it. I heard you trying to speak. You got it, dog.
Like with what you were saying, Z, like when people like even with my city, right?
Mhm.
I like all our projects are gone. Like
Yes.
they
Yeah. So I heard
all our housing
they tore them
projects.
down. Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like they think Chicago is bad now. When I
Hmm.
was growing up in the '90s, Chicago murder rate was almost at 1,000 a year. Like I tell, like I had my family came from Cabrini Green. I'm like they used to be sniping in the projects. They were
Yeah.
sniping like from building to building. at rival
That's
buildings and stuff.
crazy.
I'm like, people do not understand what they're talking about. And just like, of course, all our people being from the South, they came up here.
Hmm.
People forget black folks was the labor force in the 70s and the 80s. They came up here. Well, before that, they came up here
Yeah.
to work in these factories.
Yes.
It was in Chicago. They came from Mississippi, Alabama to I got family right now in Detroit. My great grandmother, they came from Alabama, Birmingham. My
Hmm.
great grandmother went to Chicago. Her sister, my great aunt, went to Detroit. So like they was coming up here for the factory jobs, and once those factories jobs dried up, so did everything else.
Yes.
Because black people was the physical labor force. We wasn't like in this political fields or corporate industries, anything like that. A lot of us was descended from uneducated people that came from down south. So when people try to create this fantasy in their head that like we've always just been equal and somehow black men just dropped the ball because we didn't want to do anything and
I I got a better way to phrase it though. 18th. Let me. As a matter of fact, let me say this. I got a way to phrase it. Let me see if you think it's better. The way you hear black women speak is as if slavery ended, black men blew the reparations money, and now they trying to get up on black women and have black women spend their reparations money on black men, big dick swag and some big rims for black men's old ass Chevy that's not worth a damn. Like it's a weird ass, like almost retelling of history. It's like you had all these opportunities, you messed it up, and now
The
you're
thing that
you're
kills
looking at me to save you from you.
Yeah, and it comes off worse like they were the only ones that were negatively impacted.
Yeah.
right. And the
Like
crazy thing
everything
is,
went fine for black men. Everything turned out just fine for us.
you know
Yeah,
what it
well,
comes
yeah,
down to,
because
Wayne?
you get to. Here's the thing, and I'm sorry, 18. I got to say this part.
No problem.
You get to not. Here's the very important part. Not only do you get to have sex with white women, but white women marry you, and that's all it needs to be. Literally, that's what this is. Literally about the fact that white women are more likely to marry black men than white men are to marry black women, and that's your liberation.
But
Isn't that what
also,
Pierce Malone told us?
yeah,
And
but
see,
it's
that's
also a part of what Sade said. Sade said white women are really mad at black men because we didn't exalt them over because they believe they deserve to see the white women.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
more so
definitely.
that than it is. But I think that what you just said, Z, is part of it, though. I think that's all
Yeah.
part of it. At the end of the day, y'all they envy white women so damn bad.
Yeah.
and I
That's the
was just
biggest
going
thing.
to
Go
say
ahead,
that
18.
at the end of the day, Lion, they've done a good job throughout the last 8, 7, 8 years camouflaging their own self hatred. They just don't want to be black, but
Yes.
they've done a good job projecting that. They've used black men's own image that was created by white men to
Attack
camouflage.
black men. Yeah. Attack black
Yeah,
men with the same image. And
with the
and
same image. Yeah,
and that's all it is. So at the end of the day, what we have now, and this is why I said the internet will expose us all. All we had to do was keep on pushing and proving wrong, and eventually we ended up to where what it really is. And so that's why I continue to bring up the fact that Yanni said, I want to be a kept woman of leisure, because at the end of the day, it
What
was
does that
never
mean?
about what she want to be a kept woman of leisure. She, in other words, so for Yanni, and by the way, I'm using her as an avatar for a larger conversation about black male stability and the fact that
Uh huh.
for many black women, they're not actually looking for a stable, 10 toes down black man. Let's say you earning your 60 grand a year. You ain't doing all that super great, but you ain't poor and destitute either. What they're saying is that's not good enough because I want opulence. So when they say when Yanni says she wants to be a kept woman of leisure, you have to understand this. She got her channel. She's making six figures. She wants to be able to keep herself, so be well off herself, and then end up with a man that earns even more. And she don't spend a penny of her money outside of on her for entertainment and luxury shit. But you got all the bills, including hers.
But fuck,
So
man.
and
fuck
you know
is
what
But
else
here's
that
my
that.
comes
part. Why
from?
don't you go get them? My thing is go get them.
They know they
Go
can't.
get them.
They
What's
can't.
wrong?
They
What's the problem?
they
Go get them.
the problem often is, first of all, the math don't math. There's not enough of those dudes.
Math ain't
Secondly,
math.
Yeah, we know they're not. But my issue is go get them. You sitting here bitching about the men who can't, who quote unquote can't cut it, it's not our fault. It's not our fault you don't qualify
Yep.
for better men.
And
It's not
you
our
know what
fault.
else?
No, our problem.
You know what else it is too,
Yeah.
Z, with her. I want to be a kept woman of music. We keep forgetting that a majority of these women was bums before the YouTube monetization.
Could you
Don't
got
do
one
it.
more
Don't
thing in
do
the
it,
back,
18th. Don't
18?
do it, 18th. Hey,
They
wait, 18th about to
Wait,
tell
wait.
y'all what Yanni was on before the fact. Go ahead, 18th.
Yeah. Okay. First off, Chrissy worked at an airport. Chrissy was at an airport. I've been listening to the woman from the jump. I just
Yeah,
actually came to
yeah,
Indianapolis, Z.
yeah.
Indianapolis is a big city, but it ain't no Miami-Dade.
You
In
look
other
like that
words,
mean ass
in other
snack.
words, it's a regular, smegular, average ass city, and ain't
It's
not too much going on.
right.
You know
Let
what?
me and
Now that I
mhm.
look at it, she do look like that mean ass snack vendor. She do look
Yeah,
like that person.
and see, and the thing is,
You
like
ain't
when I
shit.
was driving through there, it was a bunch of
Uh-huh.
frame houses because Indianapolis is where like what's going on with New York. Indianapolis is where the Chicago people go when they can't no longer afford to live in Chicago.
Uh,
Everybody's migrating down to Indianapolis because the
mhm.
Indiana is cheaper to live in.
Yeah.
So they have I was driving through an area and it looked like meth head central, man. And that was like, and it's crazy because this is the city, we're not used to seeing meth heads in the city. Poor white folks.
And she,
But
she brags about her luxury apartment. Who said it? Was it you lying in the comment? Somebody said it when I played it. It was like, what was it you, Terrell? Somebody was like, yo, why she keep on talking about her luxury apartment every 5 seconds? I'm like, of course, because
yep.
that's what it is for her. That's what it
Hmm.
But I
is.
didn't see
Like,
the.
and she's talking about
Yeah,
all.
I didn't
Go
see
ahead.
that.
Yeah,
No,
but
I didn't see
somebody
that.
said in the comments when I played it, and like, so she's from
Why did they
Indianapolis,
interrupt
or she
that?
lives there at least now, right? From what we know.
No, she's born and raised in Indianapolis. Yeah.
Bro, if you don't shut the entire bro, I'm so I know there's black people that live in Indianapolis. I'm sorry, for what I'm about to say, man. If y'all weirdo black people don't shut the entire hell up, y'all be having some weirdo ass lives, and then y'all get mad at black men because black men ain't make y'all white people. Y'all around too many goddamn white people.
Be
And
the
Send
that's
down
only,
towns
be
in
the only
Indiana.
black woman, the only black woman living there by herself. I bet you any other black woman that is there is probably married.
Bro, this thing be killing me when I hear it. It's the same thing with Cynthia G, bro. Like y'all be around mainly white folks, y'all be hobnobbing with white folks, and then you know what that it further pushes you into your inferiority complex. And then you come out here, black men didn't build this and they didn't do that. You've been around Karen too long.
Excuse me.
Karen is making you feel like she's better than you. That's not a
But
black man
Karen,
problem. That's a you problem.
Be at work right next to their ass.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Karen be at work right. Karen got to go to work. Karen got to clock in and go to work too, just like you do.
Yeah,
and
that
And she
shit's
I
married.
mean,
crazy.
and you know what's crazy about the whole situation, even with Yunny. Yunny is trying to make up when she wasn't the it girl in
18th, when you get a chance, read the screen. Keep on talking, but read the screen when you get a chance.
Okay, wait. GC said luxury apartment just means overpriced complex with a fridge that ain't white.
Hey,
You know
tell me
what's
he
crazy
lying
when he
though.
says that? You know
Nah,
what's
this is
crazy when
true.
he said that? I don't know what happened with Chrissy, but if you
Mm.
listen to her lives long enough, remember Mrs. Z. Chrissy used to live in the house. She lived in the
I didn't
house.
know that.
She sold
I,
the house
oh,
and
okay,
moved
okay.
into her apartment,
Yeah.
her
uh-huh.
luxurious apartment. And then she would say things. See, this what happens.
Hmm.
I've been listening from the beginning. She would overshare. She would say, like I just did. She would say things like, "I just didn't need all of that house by myself." But now that we know Chrissy likes the cap. We know Chrissy likes the cap. So something either maybe
She lost the house, or she
yeah.
barely could afford it, or that shit. Okay, let's take her at face value.
Foreclosure.
No, 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 wait. Maybe let's take her at face value. You didn't need all that house by yourself. That mean you one lonely ass bitch.
Mhm.
That's what you just said. Either way, either you couldn't afford it or you had a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house and it was just you.
I think
Or
Chrissy's
if
a liar.
or maybe your siblings was living with you and they moved out. Maybe your brother was living with you with the kids and then he moved out. You never know.
And remember what she said about her family members. Apparently,
Hmm.
her sister as well is married to a white guy, one of those bottom shelf brads, are kind of average. Brads and her
Ooh.
One,
sister.
okay, let's address that. If that's
Mhm.
true, let's say this is true. Then once again, y'all can listen, man. I'm sorry. I'm the child of immigrants, admittedly. I can't listen to black people, bro, that been around white folks like this, like this, like this, and then now you the one giving social commentary about black shit. Shut the fuck up. Shut
Right.
up. I
Is that
can't
why you
listen
have
to
a hard
black
time
people
listening to
unless
me?
you not because you're from overseas, but like black
Thank you.
people that like grew black people that grew up around white. That doesn't mean you don't have a role to play. Chrissy does have a role to play. She ain't playing that role because she's resentful. She's not white, but she does have a role to play. Her role to play is to school us on what these white people be on. But she's so resentful. She ain't caring. She ain't playing her goddamn role.
Hmm.
She coming back over
uh,
here talking shit to us because we ain't make her who Karen is.
And remember, she used to talk about her boyfriend a lot. Her boyfriend apparently had some
Who the
issues.
Filipino dude?
No, this was prior. This was the
Oh,
dude that she was dating that was an engineer, and he was
okay.
supposed to be a brother. And he had some, I guess, she used to say a lot in them lives, man. She
Yeah.
used to say a lot, and I'm glad I got the memory of an elephant. I don't remember
Right.
everything. I remember a lot. I remember quite a bit,
Bruh.
and yeah,
Hey, let's call a thing, man. Look, she probably, and I agree with you when you said it too. She might have showed herself to Sarge, and Sarge was like, meh, and then she went off.
18th, man. You say you got the memory of an elephant?
Man, no, but the thing with a lot of these content creators,
Uh,
Namer, they'll 18th is right. They'll overshare, but they
oh,
think
right.
that we don't remember. And you remember, Chrissy's had her channel for what 8 years or something like that, seven some odd 8 years. So she done
Okay.
said a lot,
And
right?
like you said
And
before, the
like,
internet will
yeah,
expose us all. But what
the
I'm
internet will
saying,
and the
expose us
reason
all.
and the
Yeah,
reason why it gets on Chrissy so much is because I saw how manipulative she was from the
oh
jump.
yeah, she a mover, bro.
Chrissy, not only like what you said before, Z. Not only do she
Hmm.
not care about black men, she don't care about black women either.
Yeah, she
And
got
truth
contempt for
be
them niggas.
told, she
Yeah, she
think a
do.
lot of her audience is very stupid.
Yeah,
She likes to manipulate and string along these women. And remember, Chrissy was the one that popularized the term gaslighting. Most people don't
yeah,
remember that.
in this space. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
She popularized that term in this space because of her situation with her ex-boyfriend, as she used to say, where her ex-boyfriend was always gaslighting her, and she had to find out
Oh,
what the
just like how
definition
some
was.
people say their ex-boyfriends were narcissists or
yeah.
psychopaths or
She
some shit
And then, yeah,
like
they
popularized
that.
use.
she
It's not that many narcissists. Every time they go, oh, he's
yeah
a narc. Shut your ass. Shut up. You don't even know what
yeah
it
You
means.
don't
she did
know.
videos on
And
gaslighting. She
Yeah.
did videos on narcissism. She popularized those two terms to have the
And
women.
let's be very clear, when these people say gaslight, what they really mean is, shooting. You're telling me it's all in my head, and I know I saw what I saw. I know it. Get your weirdo
see,
ass. Go
excuse
ahead,
me,
Naaman.
Z.
Oh, hey, yeah, Naaman, you were trying to talk. I think Line, were you trying to say something also? But go ahead, Naaman, and then Line, go.
First of all, as far as the whole terms of gaslighting and such like that,
Hmm.
I have been a victim of gaslighting,
Hmm.
and I can explain to you that as somebody, I have experienced narcissistic abuse. I've actually come in contact with actual narcissists because I am myself a cluster B personality disorder. So this is not something you want to just throw out willy nilly. I mean, even what's
Shit.
the name, Abba from Abba and Free. She talked about how
Yep.
he broke up with a chick and she tried to call his ass a narcissist. Now, first of all, no, he's not. First of all, he's an Ethiopian, and Ethiopians are naturally assholes like that. I know because
Okay.
it's an Eritrean. We know how to fuck with them like that. We have to be complete dicks to deal with them. But anyway,
Hmm.
um, just to say that this person was a narcissist sociopath, you really know what a narcissist sociopath is? Have you ever looked one in the eye? Or you ever look,
They.
like, say you get into, if you look into a narcissist's eyes, you lock eyes with it, it's empty, no one's there. And if you try to confront one, no, I'm serious, I'm serious. They're hollow, lack of explosion. But if you try to confront them, they'll give you like a weird smirk. Why? Because um, they're basically, like I said many, many times, they are parasitic in nature. So when you are giving them attention, which is like a drug to them, and they look at you, they have a smirk. It's like they're high. It's like they're getting high, awesome, raw, uncut, 100%, 100% heroin straight from
You're
wherever.
feeding them your soul because they don't have any. Anyway,
Exactly.
so the ruthless, thank you, the ruthless heartless revelator for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Like, share,
Thank you
subscribe,
for
hit the
the
super chat.
yeah.
Right, but
Thank you for the
yeah,
Haitian voodoo interpretation. What I just said.
right. Like, no, but even though and to Kim C
Well,
because
hold up,
Kim
hold
C
up, hold up. You're broken, dude.
complimented you about that. Go, oh, am I? Can you guys hear me now? Now.
You were broken for a moment,
Now.
but now you're good.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
good
So
now.
no, I was saying shout out to Kevin C because Kevin C, he was like, see, this is what we call him, the divester whisperer and the female babble whisperer, because I explained to him what it was really about with Kayla Nicole. And it was essentially her saying like, "Oh, we got the black men making fun of us and the Swifties, and I'm so sorry," but she can't say it like that. So she gotta make it. She gotta frame it in some black female empowerment crap. So I was able to go. I went on Roger's channel.
Not
That was
like
like what,
how
last
Maya
week or whatever.
Benberry
Yeah.
was. That was worse.
Wait, say again? Oh yeah, you don't know her? Man, I don't even talk
Maya
that
Benberry.
yeah,
She's the
that
one
was
who
the
called
chick.
Kelsey a narcissist.
Yeah. I know, but yeah, I don't even talk about like that was really the one that Black Uru is referring to when he was like Miss Ann stole my white man. She was really that one, but
Yeah,
and I thought that was
she was that one.
hysterical when he said that. Oh, that was funny. But okay,
But
so
here is
wait before we do
I'm
that,
sorry.
let's go back. What do we think? And I'm gonna start with 18th. What do we think about Kim Foster and her whole Obsidian is stalking her campaign, which I'm not gonna get into, whatever. But yeah, the whole like, we need to talk about these people and these people are calling me crazy, and then they try to stalk my boyfriend and expose him, and I mean I don't know about that. Once again, I'm not trying to do that, but just what do we think about Kim Foster and Kim Foster's brand of like advocacy for black women and kind of claiming that she gives a fuck about black men, but you can't really tell by the way she's been speaking for the past few years on the interwebs. But go ahead.
Well, once again, most of these women are liars. I mean, that's just truth be told.
Mm,
They liars. She did not care about black men. Her brand started out as a way to demean black men and put down black men because of her own personal life. She felt that she didn't have what she wanted as a black woman. But now, with the way YouTube has become a business, why not I take my own anger and my rage and monetize it? And even though now that I got my little Squidward looking black guy,
nigga,
now
nigga.
that's now I got my pride booster. I got my pride booster, and I feel a little bit better about myself because I got somebody,
Hey,
and
I'm
I'm
not gonna
still
lie
making
though.
bread.
I could tell she was glowing at 1.18. She was talking. It's so crazy watching her talk shit about us. And he was in the room behind, and she was glowing while she talking shit about us, other
Hmm.
black men. But she glowing.
Yeah, but see, a lot of these women they really want. See, I pay attention to their moves in the aftermath.
Yeah,
Like for instance, Cynthia G right now has done. This is the aftermath because I pay attention to what these women's next move are when they realize they have nowhere else to go. Like after they've screamed to the mountaintops about black men are the enemy, and they was expecting to get assistance
Let-
from all of these other racist
18th. I gotta
people.
cut you off again
Mhm.
because you're a hip hop connoisseur in head.
Absolutely.
I need a ride or die chick locks, not Jadakiss verse.
Mm.
Was it Chic Luke verse? What did he say? What did he say? Women really want.
I
Was it
can't
Sheik Luke
remember.
or
It's
was
been
it?
a while.
He was like, they just want to hear their name scream, yelled out at Lex, and he said some other. It was either Sheik Luke or it was the what's his name, but Styles P. It wasn't Styles. Was it Styles P? It was Styles. That wasn't Styles P. Somebody gonna check me, Trail or Indigo gonna check. But while you talking, I'm thinking about Kim Foster, and I'm thinking about her man saying, "Y'all niggas just had it all wrong, bro. She just needed a nigga to come through with a little bit of money and blow her back out. Like, y'all even know she just needed somebody that wasn't absolutely hideous to come through
Mm,
and put that work in, and she was gonna be all right." Right? He
yeah.
probably looking at us
Maybe.
like, see, y'all over here battling with her. I just, scooped in and,
Well, we need that guy. But you know what's funny?
yeah, he's
Who
doing the Lord's work. To me,
said,
he's
yeah,
the MVP. Go ahead.
SWP said, no, no, sir. It ain't gonna be me.
Right? Well, that's for Chrissy, but for I'm talking
Yeah,
about not Chrissy, but I'm talking about real no, I was about to say for Kim Foster.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
no,
No, I
yeah.
know, I know. I was just saying
Well, yeah, but
that's
you're
what he
saying,
said.
duh,
He
yeah,
said,
but sorry, so he ain't gonna be the one that for Chris.
yeah.
Look, man, if Chrissy was all that, she would have been married. But she said she's been engaged multiple times. Cool. My thing, once again, with a lot of these people, I think they have to be on. This is the thing. We call it red pill rage, man. We're honest. We call it. We know it's a phase. We're gonna slowly shepherd you out of it, right? You're still gonna have your issues with women because you're dating women, so of course, right? But we call it red pill rage. We call it what it is, and we know you're gonna go off the reservation a few times. We know we're gonna have to reel you back. All right, brother. We hear you. Yeah, you can't say that, but they don't do that. They don't
Well,
call a thing a thing.
the thing with us is that over here we got Lion, we got Namer, we got yourself,
Mhm.
who's amassed a following with your platform. We like you said it's multiple times, and we noticed within our circle, we have women that support us like Toya. We
Mhm.
have different. We talk about the whole landscape of the whole environment over here. Everything we
Excuse me.
talk about how it affects us, and that's how you know that we care more about black women than they do. They just look at them as a complete cash app or a super chat. That's it, because they're not telling them anything to help prepare them for what's to come. They're constantly feeding them this BS. And shout out to Paris and Chrissy for, because Chrissy said that she had a secretary or assistant. Shout out to them for working overtime to delete all of those hateful videos
Hey,
and
bro. Hey,
uh,
dog.
in the
Hey,
demise of
that
sin.
you know that Cynthia G thing got them spook.
He got
Ooh,
to,
you know that got them spook. Boy, boy,
hey, how did Biggie say it in the story to tell? They came through the door. I was shook
Kick
daddy.
in the
I had
door,
my
take the
ratchet.
fork off.
right?
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's
You
more
give me
Richard
an
Simmons.
opening, I'll take it. Give me any
Oh
opening, I will
man,
take it. But
bruh. When I say like real quick, but there's
right.
bruh. They. This is the thing for me. I still don't want to celebrate it because, as Dr. Green Gorilla said, this could be a proxy for, oh, we took her out, now we about to fucking wipe the floor with you guys. So I
Uh-huh.
don't want to celebrate it completely like that. But we have to be, yo, you can't talk like this.
Yeah, but you
Dear
know what's
black
crazy?
women, you can't talk like this. I know you angry, but you can't talk like this.
Nah, let them talk
Go ahead.
like this. Let them talk like this, because at the end of the day, it's going to force men to make a decision. Do
Good
you want to
point.
deal with this or don't you?
GC
Why does
said,
it
I'll
sound like
celebrate for
KFC in the
enough for
background?
all of us. I'll
And see,
celebrate.
in my personal opinion, I have so
Mhm.
much pride in being a man. I
Yeah.
love my brothers, from the Caribbean back to the States to
Mhm.
over in the continent. And it's no turning back for me after this. Is
Yeah.
no, I can't compromise, I can't forgive, I can't do anything, because you've shown that you are of no value to the black community at all. You've shown that
Mm-hmm.
you are a weak person with your own insecurities and self-hate, that you are willing
Uh,
to destroy everything.
Real
So I
yeah,
quick,
I was wanting to
everybody.
ask
I
about
got I
that
got to get
before.
on Detroit real quick, real quick. I'm gonna look right after me. And Detroit, you only say Lisa Ray is Superwoman because she's light skinned and
like, and you know
Yo,
what's
bring up all
crazy,
the
Z?
others. Bring up all his other comments.
And you know what's crazy, Z?
no, Detroit got too many. He done been on this for like a week at least, longer than that.
Oh,
What
come
for
on,
like a
they're
week?
good, man. You can't
Yeah,
knock them,
yeah.
brother.
now
But
she
go.
no, Lisa
Mhm.
Ray is
All right.
Sindel, but Sindel, she notified.
Hey, I noticed ain't nobody ever say nothing about light skinned women, and I got one, but she don't got a forehead. And they goddamn forehead. Lisa Ray got a forehead. You
Yeah,
ever seen
don't
her
be
in a
talking shit
ponytail?
about
Yeah,
my
she
people
did.
like that.
She
Shit,
did.
we
The,
always
the,
talk about
the, the
my
light
people like
skins
that.
got them foreheads. If Rihanna got a 5, if Rihanna headbutts you, she's still fine. But if Rihanna headbutts you, she's going to kill you, nigga. Goddamn,
Yeah,
light skinned
I ain't
women be
gonna
having
lie.
them
I ain't gonna lie.
foreheads.
Foreheads do be
Yeah.
Like
big.
headbutting a Samoan in WWE wrestling.
God damn. All of them got four. Beyonce got a forehead. I put money if you tell Beyonce to put her hair in a ponytail, I guarantee you.
Hell,
Forehead.
Have you seen
even
her
the new
mama?
light-skinned women, both the
Oh
Bailey sisters, Chloe and
yeah.
Haley, both got
Yeah,
foreheads.
yeah, they definitely got foreheads.
They
Oh, they
both
got
got
foreheads.
foreheads.
Don't forget
Oh
the Murray
goddamn.
twins.
Good.
But I was
Oh,
just gonna
come
say this
yeah,
really
for real.
quick. I was just gonna
Go
say
ahead
this.
and then name it. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So I was just gonna say this. So yeah, man, it's no compromising with me. And Kim Foster and all of these people, they've reached the point of no return with me. And even
Mhm.
people like FD Signifier and all of these people, you cannot be this dishonest. Either you're oblivious to what's going on or you're
He's not.
completely dishonest.
Yeah,
And
it's not obliviousness for him. I I understand his angle. I think he's wrong.
mhm,
I think for him, he looks at us like we're trying to hold on to a form of patriarchy that's antiquated and that's going out anyway. And so for
Mm-hmm.
him, it's like, nigga, y'all trying to fight a fight that y'all already lost. Like, it's not, we're in a different world, we're in a different era. And I think FD understands, excuse me, that the economic landscape right now it could be switch changing, and I think that's where me and BGS stand. But I think what the way he's seeing is like, y'all are not going to be able to practice this form of masculinity anyway because the economic landscape won't allow for you. And so it's almost like the economic landscape won't allow for men to practice this, and then women will just adjust. And my thing to FD and all of the technocrats and social designers, whether they be white, black, or otherwise, the women will
Uh-huh.
not. They are lit. Y'all don't under, because y'all not further on the ground like us. They don't. And the black community, I think, is the canary in the coal mine. All you're gonna do is raise a bunch of resentful, angry, bitter ass women who have less sex, have less children,
Uh-huh.
get less married because you
And
can't
they're
adjust
ugly.
their hypergamy. You
And
Right.
they're
can't.
fatter.
Yeah,
And they're
and
not
they're
even
fat. Yeah,
Oh,
tall.
yeah.
guys, let me get in
Go.
before I can say what I gotta say. To Detroit 313. Vivica A. Fox is Harley Quinn. Nah, nigga.
A
Nah,
young Vivica A. Fox.
Would y'all
she ain't
please
that
let these
nuts.
old hoes go? Let these old ass women go. Let
Dude,
these old
no, you
ass
gotta
women
sing it
go.
like Prince.
Jesus
You gotta
Christ.
let them
Let
go.
these
Anyway,
old ass women go. They are old. They are done. Every time I see Vivica Fox in commercials now, and I'm like, oh my God, how far have we fallen?
Hey, shout out to Corey. Oh, this nigga said
Corey Holcomb.
Corey Holcomb said, yo, what? No, it wasn't Corey. It was what's his name that said it first. She looked like what's his what the doll off of y'all want to play? Do you want to play a
Mary
little
Spears?
game? No,
Jigsaw. You
what
talking about Jigsaw?
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 Yo, when
That's
he said
exactly how she
From
he said
looked.
Saw.
saw, yeah, he was like, do you want to play a little game? And I nigga,
Do you
when I
want to play
saw
a
that,
game?
y'all don't understand the laugh. Oh, I want to steal something from black women real quick. The laugh that I laughed, nigga, this shit was fucking. He said Jigsaw, and when you don't see it until you see it, like you don't
Yep.
see it in her now until you see her, and you're like, oh shit, the surgery do make her look like Jigsaw now.
Yeah, dude. These women are
Nigga,
these
that
women
shit,
are
I
done.
died.
These women
Nigga,
are
But
I
done.
anyway,
Go
died.
out to
Go
pasture.
ahead,
yeah. But
go ahead, David.
anyway,
Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. It's like first of all, they say like y'all didn't turn them into white women. First of all, to use a Dave Chappelle quote regarding Title IX. First of all, y'all went in on the heist. You just
Yeah.
mad on the cut you got.
Yes. Yes.
You undercut your own men because you thought the white woman would just give you a sweeter deal. Only you realize she wasn't promising she didn't promise you gold. She promised you like 50% silver and the rest was in pyrite, aka fool's gold. So now you want to pin it on us like we did something. Bitch,
It.
you
You
stabbed
know
us
what
in
it
the
is,
back.
Naima?
But
Go
to your
ahead.
point, Z though, but to your point,
Mhm.
Z, about what FD was saying, like, oh, we're not gonna be able to hold on to the patriarchy you think you have. I'm like, oh, so what's the alternative? This matriarchy? Is that
I don't. I know.
because you
I
know
wouldn't
that's
say
not
he
gonna
said
go
that
either. That's
because
not gonna go either. And
he
here's the thing: it's not even gonna be men to shoot that down. Women will shoot that
women.
down because
So let me get to that because so BGS it was maybe 2 weeks ago at this point now.
that video he
BGS
played.
and no BGS and GC, BGS and not GC, I'm sorry,
Green
G
Gorilla.
serotonin, G no
Oh,
G
G serotonin.
serotonin.
Okay.
Yeah, so BGS G asked BGS this. I wasn't even on the panel, but I was listening. He asked him about like feminism and this type of thing going away, and BGS was like, it's gonna be just like what you just said, like it's gonna be women that shoot this down. I had a white woman tell me that, and remember, I worked for the Florida Democratic Party. I had a white woman from the Florida Democratic Party tell me that she was from the Midwest. She said that to me in 2016. we
Oh wow.
we went, a bunch of us went out for drinks after we canvassed, and we put all of our we registered everything, and we went out for drinks afterward, and
Uh-huh.
me and her were talking about, just man woman stuff, because Mr. Z been on this relationship kick for a long time, and and she said that, she said it's gonna be women, and that's where I got my whole concept about, do you want to be special or equal. It's from the conversation I had with her, and remember, this is like October-ish, maybe October, September-ish of 2016. I had this conversation, and it's stuck with me since then. Exactly what Lion just said, exactly what BGS has said, and I've been saying too, but I don't know how often I've said it online. It's going to be women that dismantle a lot of the feminism, because they don't actually like equality when you really show them what it looked like. Many of them would much rather gamble with being special and being kept, and even if they have to do a little part-time living that life with a man, than full on 50-50 equality, or even worse, she's paying the majority of the
Uh-huh.
bills. And
Because
because
it
there
goes
is a
against
handful of women that are okay with paying the majority of the bills, and they want that power in their household, they really underestimate how much other women do not want that shit. But go
because
ahead,
it's
Lion,
not
and
in
then
their
I
Naaman.
nature.
understand. Okay, sorry. Go ahead,
Because
Lon.
it's not in their nature to want it. That's why
Yeah.
it's never going to vote for the overwhelming majority of women, because it's not their nature. It's not their nature to be the breadwinner. It's not. BGS just played a
Hmm.
video. Suzanne Vecker. I went and looked at her video, and I went and looked at some, because she was playing the video. I'm like, men and women respond differently to being the breadwinner.
Yep. Yep.
And he's that's 100%.
Yep. No, I
It's
agree.
100% true. That's why there's a reason why the marriage has a higher percentage of chance failing when she's the breadwinner versus the male's the breadwinner, because women don't handle being the breadwinner well. It's not in their system.
Yeah.
It's the
I,
level of
I agree
contempt
with
and
BGS when
resentment
I
they
when he
have.
says they think they can socialize it out of them. But go ahead, Naaman, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm cutting
But
you off all the time. Go
also, you
ahead.
have to understand. Yeah, you've been cutting me off because I got a big ass mouth. And I guess everybody's still mad at me about the doggy style shit. But
We
anyway,
really got to do a
um,
stream about that, because I agree with you. By the way,
we
I didn't feel any way about what you said, because I agree with you. I was surprised that you said it, and it's accurate. By the way, but
as
yeah, yeah,
someone
we
who
would have to do a
has,
stream about that.
we
Yo,
have
Detroit,
to
take
because
that. Detroit, take that shit back. FD signifier is not the Joker. That motherfucker is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn. You giving that
What
motherfucker
up,
credit
well,
where
you
credit
better
everybody?
is
not
We
say he
on.
Bishop from X Men.
Oh,
But anyway,
no.
as I was saying, it's not just the level of contempt, because understand that women in other parts of the world, boomers in other parts of the world, they were becoming, more and more independent liberal, but there was like a clash between the traditional societies they came from and modernization.
Hmm.
And that kind of modernization took a toll on some of the men. It affected that generation of men as well, and the younger generations of men, like people of my who are my peers from other parts of the world. I mean, if you look, I mean, I could use the whole for all of us African brothers, the migrant crisis that's been going on for the past 20 years of all of us trying to get to Europe.
Hmm.
Many of them are young men who are trying to make it, who are trying to get home, try to try to find gainful employment in Europe, sometimes legal or whatever, and try to send money home to support their families because their parents are getting too old, and some of them are too young,
Yeah.
and some of them like as young as some of their young are even minors and they're trying to do that shit, and hopefully, or like in the case of certain people, like in predominantly Muslim countries,
Hmm.
because of the whole issue of the dowry in their cultures. Some of these guys are working well into their 40s so they can afford to get married. It's getting harder for a lot of people in these cultures and customs. And the people wonder why the birth rate in some of these places is going down. Because a lot of those girls get educated, but there's also a sense of entitlement to developing. And not to mention,
And
Western
that's
media
the
has
issue.
influenced them.
So I
Western media has influenced them. Go ahead.
no, and so okay. I want you to answer this, and I want to say this, and
Okay.
then I want you to finish what you're saying, and then transition, because GC said doggy style. So I want you to explain what we were talking about, how many streams ago that was. Okay,
Over a
first,
month ago.
I agree with you with the
Hmm.
the media coming from the West and how it affects people, namely women in developing countries, right? This aspiration that, especially depending on where you're coming from in these particular
Mhm.
societies, is it's that's really delusional because like y'all are not there, right? Number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two, um, the fleeing to Europe. So we see this oftentimes in America with
Uh-huh.
some of like for me, my parents or
Latinos,
Latinos and
Asians.
like run, you end up in these countries, you raise your children in these nations, and
Hmm.
in one or two generations, you went from five siblings, six siblings to your kid only have one child, two children. Not only that, the aspirationalism of your daughter compared to your wife, especially if you obviously if you married your wife from wherever you're from and then you brought her here or she got here first, however it worked. That aspirationalism, right? What we're witnessing is, I've said this before, we have not socialized women for this quote unquote power and influence that we gave them. Now, they may not be uber wealthy or rich, but for that even for that professional managerial class that they occupy, we didn't actually socialize them for what the fuck that entails in their intimate and
Hmm.
personal lives, particularly with the opposite sex. And I think that's why they're
Especially.
screaming. Because, like me and Lon are saying, they still want to practice hypergamy, but we put them in a position where they're bumping up against the elite women that said, "Bitch, you ain't coming up here. We
It's
ain't shit.
not
You ain't taking my
conducive.
men."
And they
It's
Right?
mad,
not
So
and they
socially
mad at men.
conducive for that.
The thing that kills me about that is that they have the nerve to be mad at men for that.
but and white men did that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's my issue with
black
the
men made
whole entire project. No one wants to tell women, "Bitch, we made you the buffer class. You got to end up with them niggas over there." And this is where Ebony K. Williams comes in, right? You got to end up with these dudes because the elite women are not gonna let you come and take their dudes.
didn't have the
They're
nerve.
not.
But the thing that kills me about Ebony K. Williams, she gets a dose of that, but want to come back over here talking about calling men mediocrity. I'm like,
That's because she ain't got nowhere else to
Well,
go. Man.
first of all, Miss
Exactly.
Williams,
Oh no, no,
fuck
that's
up.
lying. That's lying speaking. Yeah, she ain't
Yeah,
got nowhere else to go,
Lion,
man.
you finish up. We're gonna let Leon speak, and then I want to come back to Neymar so Neymar could talk
all right.
about his doggy style concept, which by the way I agree with. But go ahead, Lion, finish up, and then Leon.
But
Before
yeah,
line
but
go
my
at
thing.
KZ, I just wanted to say check the back chat real quick. I
Okay, yeah.
sent a
Okay,
message.
okay, okay.
But I just gonna wrap it up by saying this. That's the thing what killed me about Ebony K. Williams when she was on that interview. She want to talk about
Mhm.
celebrating. She talking about mediocrity. I'm like, ma'am, you failed to do what humans have been doing for millions and millions of millennia, which is have
Mhm.
children. Who the fuck are
Yeah.
you calling mediocre?
Yo, mediocre ass, like
You're
me and
mommy,
you and all the
you
rest of
can't
us.
have you are doing the one thing that humans have known to do, which is procreate. You can't do, and you have to pay you got to pay to get pregnant. Get the fuck out of my face, man.
Look,
You
man.
have to pay to get pregnant.
Look.
You
We
have to
we
pay to
we
get pregnant. Get away from me.
we know. Look, not all women have this thing. Ebony K. Williams is a special case because we have women that frequent our spaces and we know their stories, and it's a different type of story for them.
uh-huh.
Her story is literally, bitch, you waited too long. Like
Way too long.
that's not the same as some type of hiccup, some type of health thing, whatever. Everybody's sympathetic for women like that because we understand women's biological want and need to be a mother for those of
Hmm.
them that feel that, right? That's a different situation. Ebony K. Williams, the reason why nobody really feels no sympathy for you, first, Ebony K. Williams is right. It's because the way she presents to the world. You're right. You are attractive and you're loud, and there are people that want to bring you down to size. That's not the story from people like Z. We look at you weird because, bitch, you are attractive, you're educated, you're connected, so it's all on you. You fucked up. That's what we're
Yeah,
saying.
but no, yeah, but
Yeah.
clearly she's not. Maybe she. Well, here's the thing. We just have to entertain the notion. Maybe she's not attractive as she thinks she is.
Oh
Because
no, I
remember,
agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with
if
that.
don't know
I
man
agree
want
with
to,
that.
if don't know man want to get you pregnant, I mean,
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
the proof is in the pudding. Maybe you're
It's
not that
you.
attractive.
It's you being a 8.2 and you think you're a 9.9. You are pretty, but which you ain't you what you think you
Nah,
are.
but here's the thing: we only
Hmm.
seeing her glammed up. For all we
That
know, at
too. No,
home
no,
she
no, yeah,
look
you're
like a
right. You're
fucking
right. You're
muppet.
right. Yeah.
She's above average, guys.
We don't know what she
Let's
looked
not
like at home.
forget. Yeah.
We don't
No,
know
she
what
is
she looked
above
Let's
like at
average.
So
She's
home.
above average.
yeah,
She's
yeah, but
above
let's not
average.
forget something, folks.
Ebony K. Williams is a woman that you can take everywhere, but the fact is
Yeah.
she's just not
Yeah.
as sexy as a super fucking model or something. But let's be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear. You can take her everywhere.
No,
Wait,
no.
wait, wait,
You can take
Leon,
her
Leon. Let me ask
physically
you a question.
everywhere. No, no, no.
Yeah,
Let
that's
me,
what I'm
let me get that.
saying.
Let me
That's
get
what
that.
I'm
Let me get
Okay,
that. Let
saying.
me get that.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. No, no. I agree with you, but I still want to say it because I know you. That's what
Yeah,
you said. Look, yeah, physically, yes, but you don't know
yeah,
how to shut the fuck up. And
yeah,
Wait a
yeah.
minute.
I'm not about telling women shut the f up, and I'm definitely not about telling black women shut the f up. Believe it or not. But Ebony K. Williams, you definitely look like the type of women that somebody is either thinking or they're just gonna say it. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's fine. Men don't. We don't have to tell them shut the fuck up. Nature will.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Somebody quoted
When we
it.
go say ass, go ahead and finish up Leon because I cut Leon off. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. So people talk about, how feminism will end. The only thing I view feminism ending is in understanding that women recognize the position of their sons in the future. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I don't think it can end. I think women are just negotiate better ideas of how to structure a be where they're more in safer environments, and they push single black low class males to a different area of the state, or you get what I'm saying? I don't believe that it can end. Um Otherwise, the only way it ends is women look at the positions of their sons coming out of high school. Otherwise, it's not happening.
Mm.
Um, when it comes to, like, I was just talking to Up City, and I actually went on there, and he was talking about Fort Harriet, and I told him I like Fort Harriet, and he was confused about it. And Fort Harriet, for example, represents the last picked woman that invested in education, but she still has the issue of these guys in my tax bracket are just as attractive as me, and they can still get better
Mm.
women, and I have to look down to less
Hmm.
attractive man in the lower class. So I'm looked at by how good I look, not how much I make. So they're always going to run in that
Don't,
situation.
Leon. I gotta correct you because Kim Foster said she's shallow and her man is attractive. Go ahead
Oh
and
yeah,
continue.
yeah, yeah. She. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
upper class women can get hyper masculine males that can't make money, or they can get an unattractive guy that still doesn't make as much money as them. You know what I'm saying?
This
So
nigga
Uh-huh.
Leon knows the
Ebony K.
words.
Williams can get a hyper masculine, physically masculine guy that doesn't make anything, but achieves her sexual goals and shutting his fucking mouth because they know their place. It's like
Oh
me
man.
dating DC women when I was younger, and they're 30, and
Oh,
I'm dating them. I know my place. You know what I'm saying?
you play your position.
Well,
I
hey,
know I know my position.
stop talking about Jesse Williams like that before he got on. Go ahead.
Oh man, come on, man. That's what you got to do.
At the
Hey, you
time,
know
but then
that
again, it
you
doesn't
know
mean you
his
gotta be.
ex-wife is angry. Ooh, you know she angry because
Yeah,
she
She,
landed her
she,
a light skin. And as a matter of fact, before he got on, he had dreads. So she
oh,
landed
did
her
he?
a mixed light skinned nigga with green eyes and dreads. Oh, she was
And
winning.
yeah.
freckles.
And then he
That's my
got
point.
on.
Yeah, but the thing was, is
Oh,
like for her, it was like she had the
that
bond, but she
burns.
knew.
Go ahead.
See, but
Yeah, but
clearly the thing is when they get those guys, if you still have that motivation to want the guy to be better, if he becomes better, you might just,
Yeah.
have an issue
in my
Hey.
game that
where
Contesta,
his
I
status
challenge Leon that
changes
way.
dating you.
Leon, I got to challenge you
It,
on
it
something.
real quick before you go, name. I just had that shit in my head too. It's not only him and her. Who did I just have? I had a better example. It's gone. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's gone.
First of
It'd be
all,
that
like what
fast.
he's
So
saying that
go ahead.
when you elevate, your woman's got to elevate. Some women don't know how to elevate. So what they'll do is they'll try to self sabotage. They just want to keep you in a position that they're comfortable with because they know if they have to elevate, they're gonna have to compete with any
Hmm.
woman who might get your attention. Some women can't, and most women do not know how to compete like that.
And that's true. There's some
Shouts
truth
I
in
out to
that.
understand.
Patrice
I
O'Neal for that stuff
understand.
because
That's what I'm saying.
There's some truth in that. They want, but here they want you to elevate, but only to a certain point.
That's what
up
I'm
to a
saying,
point, but
guys.
where
Yeah.
it's not too threatening because a lot of women do not cannot handle certain things. Like there's a certain cross that men have to bear that women do not understand is real about us. And Patrice brought this up, especially when they were talking about the whole Tiger Woods situation back in '09, going into '10.
Hmm.
When he said he basically said it like this: when women are bleeding every month, to us that's real. When they giving birth, to us that's real. But when we look at another woman, that's not real to them. They try to rational. They try to switch it up and try to engage in some mental gymnastics, trying to rationalize and try to say there's something wrong with us. Not understanding what kind of creature we are. They only understand men up until a point because they only try to understand men when it's in their best interest to understand them.
I get
Otherwise,
what
We
you're
have a
saying.
they're
floor you
not bothered.
can't go under. Here's the problem, name and I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. We have a floor
Mhm.
that we can't go under. For them, they don't get
Uh
that.
huh.
You
That's
do
true.
not want to be called a bitch by a man for real, for real.
Hmm.
That is the thing. You cannot be called a bitch. But if a nigga just calling you a bitch just because we know, like, okay, nigga, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know me. But like, you don't want to be put in the nigga. You sound like a bitch. You don't want to be put in that, and no man does. You don't want to feel like it. You don't want to hear it. And women, yeah,
Is
it's
that
still
what
an
I'm
insult.
doing?
Don't get it twisted. Calling a woman a bitch is still calling a woman a bitch is still an insult, but it's not the same.
Uh huh.
In
Can
other
I
words,
ask
when
him,
you call a man
his
that, what
name?
you're saying is you're not operating by men's specifications. When you call a woman that, you're just saying, okay, you're being bratty, you're being annoying, you're being whatever, right? It's
Hmm.
Yeah.
different, right? And they don't
Yeah.
fully appreciate that. But go ahead. I think what was
They
that
don't.
Leon that had a
Go ahead,
question?
Nameless.
Leon.
Nameless. What was actually your
Hmm?
question? Because
Name. It's Nema, by the way. Nameless is
Name it.
someplace else.
yeah.
But anyway, my question is,
Mhm.
if you were MBK Williams, would you be crazy enough to take her to the cheese factory?
Um. Well,
Yeah.
see, I'm like it'll just be somewhere we go out to eat. Like just randomly, like we want to go out and eat. So we're just like, shit, let's stop at the Cheesecake Factory.
Name it.
It's
You
not
didn't ask
like
the
Let me
question
ask
it's
you.
right.
not
You didn't
like
ask the question right.
you
Would
know
you
what I'm
take
saying.
Would you take Ebony K. Williams to the Cheesecake Factory first date?
Oh, for me, no, no.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to
Yeah.
say
If you
that because
see,
my thing is like
Hmm.
I look at I look at certain dates in different ways, and I'm not the super dating type anyway. Never have been. It's like
Yeah.
my me getting sex has not never been like predicated out on a date. It's a date came afterwards, like a girl saying, "I want a date" after giving me sex like six,
right?
7 times.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
No.
saying?
No. No.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
anyway,
never
No.
been
Yeah.
my thing.
yeah,
So,
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But
when
wait.
it
Wait.
when
Wait.
it
Wait.
when
Wait.
it
I'm sorry, answer your question.
No, no, go ahead, Leon, and then I gotta get name it to actually get to the we're gonna get to the good
all
stuff.
right.
But go ahead, Leon.
So
Okay.
So my thing is when it's come to dating, not taking women out, I just look at them. Who are they connected to? What's the value in them? Should I impress them?
Okay.
Otherwise, I never have to. I
Hmm.
never had to. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
I hear you. I understand.
Okay.
I
But
hear what you're
All
saying.
right.
I just
I agree. By the way, yeah, yeah.
I look at Applebee's and certain restaurants as like shit. I'm hungry. Let's stop somewhere decent and eat something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's in
Yep.
my mind. That's
Yep.
already dating or just like a girl that's with me and it's like fuck. I'm hungry. So you just take her out somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think
Yeah.
for them it's about like the formal. You know what it? Let's call it thing a thing. Bitch, y'all trying to recreate formal European style courting dating,
Yeah.
and but marriage is not necessarily on the table. You really try to do this as a way of backdooring your way into experiences that you can brag about and like Instagrammable dates, essentially, and foodie calls. But you're using the formality that kind of doesn't exist anymore as the reason why we should engage in this. Because it's really about the money
You
and the
mean
stat and the status of this venue in the first place, right?
you mean
But
like how
yeah,
people post pictures of what other plates on social media, or they take pictures? Because a lot of women when they see stuff like that,
and name it. By the way, when
not
you
just
finish this, go right into your to the doggy style thing so we can explain that for
I'll get to
GC.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I said, but I'm gonna tie this up with some, like we said earlier, but immigrants and everything earlier. Social media, like when you do those, when people post up of where they've been and where they at. Some people just kind of like it affects them mentally. They get like depression, just like what you mentioned in the social dilemma documentary you mentioned to check out on
Yes.
Netflix.
Great
That
documentary. I suggest
yeah,
everybody watch that.
the social dilemma. I saw it.
Yeah,
Oh,
on
if
Netflix.
you got
Yep.
HBO, check out something called After Truth about the whole thing about fake news because they talk about the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
also
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no
yeah.
and there's another one on HBO called 15 Minutes of Shame with Monica Lewinsky. But anyway,
Uh,
um,
what was Monica Lewinsky ashamed about? Anyway, go ahead.
no, she talked about how people were like dog pound, the whole trolling and shit
I
that
know,
came
I
after
know,
that.
I know. I'm being funny. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, she still hasn't been able to get that rinse that taste out of her mouth, even though it's been like almost
Ah,
30 years.
what you said about her dress?
It's
Keith, Keith, Keith.
27.
Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. But
go
like the
ahead.
whole thing, like I said, like people from within Africa have no or people within Asian have no genuine concepts of what's it like in the West. Only know is what they saw on on social media. No, sorry, what they see in media, music videos, films, and whatnot, right?
Hmm.
But some of the relatives who are living abroad, especially the ones who are like posting up on Facebook or on those social media that they've checked, it gives them some kind of misconception as well. I remember because I was born outside, but I came home when I was a kid.
Hmm.
But I understood that, what's it like out there, but I also know what it's like to be inside. So I understand what's like on either side of the fence. But I remember going on social media, it affected me in a way because considering I was, really fucked up because I have a personality disorder and emotionally sensitive, seeing those images kind of twisted me in such a way that I had to like unfriend and stay away from certain people that way. So those misconceptions, everyone has misconceptions, but some of them are accentuated by one thing or another. So when I see worse in movies, I'm like, it is what it is. It's just jokes. It's funny. But I know reality is not like that. I've seen sitcoms, but it's not like that in real life. Because I
Hmm.
remember growing up in the Middle East, there were some places that had some serious poverty, man. You think Latinos in the U.S. having rough? No, you just see South Asians and Southeast Asians who are in a similar position in the Middle East. They are like, especially like when they talk about folks in the UAE or in Qatar and stuff like that. But anyway, the doggy style thing.
Hmm.
All right, pay attention. It started when you wanted to take a dig at Ben Shapiro's wife,
Bum
and
ass.
that's where the inspiration came. You talked about how his wife has to let him nut up in her, and therefore kiss together. First of all, we all understand the concept of the starfish, don't we?
Yes.
The starfish. Well, some chicks, if they're conscious enough, and especially those who are well versed, who know their sexuality quite well, they would rather you hit it from the back. And I remember realizing this from a friend. And I remember talking to his friend about this because she had had a few experiences with certain men. And I looked at her and said, I take it you got it from the back because you prefer to hit it from the back because most guys that they were on top of you, you'd have to
Hmm.
look at them, having that weird face like Bill Bellamy joked about, when they come. Shout out to Bill
The
Bellamy.
O face.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
I just call
yeah,
it the O face to be less creepy. But go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. But
Oh man.
if a woman is engaging in sex with somebody she has utmost contempt for or resents, some of the girls who are not who they'll do most girls will do starfish, but some girls will insist you hit it from the back. What the point is for them, because even though you're in it hitting it right, but she while she's taking it, she's also giving herself manual stimulation, closing her eyes and thinking of a fantasy just to help herself get off. You think you getting
Mhm.
off? No, you do not control this woman's mind. You don't understand that she's conjuring up fantasies or maybe past experiences to help her just deal with the fact that she's going through this shit.
So
It's like
Can
it's
I
out of my
add
not
on
body,
some of
out of
that?
missionary
my mind.
because missionary is more intimate. It's closer. It's there's a
Yes,
certain level of so doggy style. She doesn't have to look you in the eye. She doesn't have to
uh,
make that kind of contact. And so
uh,
yeah, she gets to kind of
she
play
gets
a fantasy.
disgusted.
Yeah.
Can I add
I
some
mean,
of that?
Go ahead, Leon.
okay,
Mhm.
I'm guilty of hitting some chicks from the back. Okay, we both guilty
hey,
of it. But
Mhm.
all right,
you don't want to kiss them. You don't really want to look at them. Some women immature. I
uh,
mean, insecure about like stretch marks or this or that,
Mhm.
and so you just hit them from the back. But
yeah,
I'm in full agreement with why women don't, and I get it. It is
uh-huh,
what it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
To
Furthermore,
me, it's not a crime. Y'all both doing
mhm,
what y'all doing. If she's
uh-huh.
imagining something else and you imagining something else, but y'all still doing what y'all doing and trying to, handle this business, then
But
hey.
here's the
Yeah.
thing, Z.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, Z. Some chicks they'll even try to do it reverse cowgirl, and like they said, you don't want a sister on top because when she's on top, she might try to break that shit. But
Yeah, I've heard of
some chicks,
issues. Like, share,
yeah,
subscribe, hit the super chat.
reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
Or some, or they want to do a cowgirl. So when they look at you, they think that they're having some kind of control over you because you
Hysterical.
get contorted onto underneath them. It disgusts them, but they get this kind of rage and they look, but they're hiding it. They're masking it though. And in some cases, even I remember reading this in a book, and I remember talking to a couple of people about this. Some women they won't let the guy nut up in them. Instead, what they'll do is they have the guy nut up on them on their chest, give them that the pearl necklace, or they might shoot up, let them shoot up in their mouth,
That's
but they're
crazy
letting
that
them.
you could not like
No,
somebody. That you got to be a
I'm
different
not finished. I'm
breed
not
to
finished.
ugh,
I'm not finished. Hold
not
up.
like
Hold
somebody and
up.
do that. Go ahead.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait up. It's not just nut up on the chest, not just a pearl necklace. Let them shoot in their mouth.
Yo, I
They're
heard you.
about to
That's what I'm
open.
saying. I heard when you
But at
said
the
that. That's
same
what I'm
time,
like.
but at
That's
the same time,
crazy.
but at the same time, they're still they're manually trying to get themselves off. Because in a sense, they're saying, you can never get me off. You can never tap into my sexuality. And afterwards, they might go spit that shit out. Because, I
Yeah.
can't believe how this motherfucker shut my mouth. In fact, if you ever seen the show Catherine the Great on
No.
HBO,
No. 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 No.
in
No.
that, there's an episode in that show where Catherine the Great, when she's with her husband, she looks at him and says,
Captain the
every
Great
time,
out of Russia.
yeah, Catherine the Great from Russia, Empress of Russia. This is like during the
Okay.
earlier
Okay.
before she
Yeah. Yeah.
bumped her husband off the phone. There's a scene
Yeah.
in that
But yeah,
show,
because she
and they
wasn't.
showed it
Yeah,
in the
that's what I was gonna say.
trailer.
She wasn't a fan of him. Yep. 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 Mhm.
Yeah, there was a
Hmm.
scene. There's a scene they took that was in the trailer, season 2, I think.
Mhm.
Like there's one scene where it says she absolutely loves me, and she's pregnant with him. But there's
Mhm.
another scene where she looks at him and says, "Every time I see you, I go dry."
Mm.
Mm, that is the level of resentment and contempt some women have for the men they're
Oh.
with. There are even some women. I'll even tell you this: in certain I remember checking out. I was cruising through social media. I checked some black pill channels. One
And
channel
after
was just
this, we gotta
talking
let
about.
Kev C speak because Mr. Z is out of
Okay,
here in 20 minutes. Go ahead.
yeah.
Finish it.
I'm
One
after
channel
him.
with yeah, one channel, black pill, where they were debunking the whole Islam has it right about women.
Yeah.
They posted some comments by certain men who are married to their wives,
Mhm.
Muslims and everything, but they have yet to consummate the marriage. 2 years in, they've yet to consummate the marriage. The wife refuses to sleep with them.
And these are
Now,
Muslims
Muslims.
Hmm.
in the
There's
Middle
one
East.
woman
Well, no, if
in
they're not
Western
married, the
Europe.
wife doesn't have to. If they're Muslim, the wife, if they're not married, she doesn't have to have sex with them. That's
No, they're
literally.
married,
No, he's
dude.
saying they're
That's not what I'm
married. No,
saying,
they're
man.
saying they're
Oh,
married. They're
Leon, that's not what I'm
married.
saying. What I
Wait.
said,
Go. Never mind.
Leon, what I'm saying is, in this one YouTube Black Pill channel where they posted a video debunking the whole thing about Islam, the myth of
Hmm.
Islam, there were he posted some comments by certain people on certain threads. One was of a Muslim man, a couple of Muslim men who were talking about their wives. They're married to the wives a couple years in, and they've yet to consummate the marriage. They've been married 2 years, haven't consummated the marriage. There's also one woman who is, this is in the West, she's a doctor, she's married to another doctor, Muslim, both are Muslim. She has yet to consummate the marriage.
That's their
And in
protest.
that situation, yeah, it's her
Hmm.
refusal. She's like trying to, get out of, giving up the draws, this motherfucker. Because he's hoping he'll get the hint and file for divorce, but technically, he can get that marriage annulled because in tradition, if you don't consummate the marriage, it's the contract is still is null and void.
That's
Hmm.
Or she turns out
crazy.
she's not a virgin. She wasn't a virgin at marriage, on her wedding night, excuse me. It's null and void. That's why you also have certain things like the whole thing about hymenoplasty, hymen restoration
Hmm.
surgery, which is
Hmm.
virgin fraud, as I'd like to call it. It is not just in the Muslim society. You see this with certain cat Latin folks in the Caribbean and in
Hmm.
Latin America. Like some chicks, like Dominican chicks, they'll go to the U.S. They'll get that surgery for like 2,500, which is top level.
Hmm.
Go back home, marry their dude, and he thinks she was
That's
married. She was a virgin
crazy.
the whole time. We
That's
gotta talk more
crazy.
about this shit anyway. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead. What's going on, Kev?
Hey, hello to you, Mr. Z, as the host and all the folks on the panel. Shout out to Rakim and the other folks that I know. So yeah,
Dub.
yeah, shout out to you, man. Yeah, as it relates to Miss Kimberly Foster, pick-me's actually do get picked. That's the reason that they're called
Hmm.
pick-me's. They're
Yep.
trying to take that and turn that into a pejorative. And I'm not a woman, but if I were, I'd be like, yeah, you damn right I'm gonna pick me. I got picked. Look at my wedding ring. Look at my husband. Look at my house. Look at my cars and clothes, and look at how I'm living. Yeah, I got it. So shout out to me and my husband. Like, women. I'm not sure. I'm not very clever with this because people will say stuff while I'm on live stream
Hmm.
or I'm in discussion, and I can't think of stuff right on the spot. But when Kimberly Nicole Foster said what she said, I'm like, yeah, the pick me's actually do get picked.
Kim
They
Foster
qualify
is a
for wife
pygmy.
status.
She's a pygmy herself. Kim Foster talked all that crap because she was
100%.
resentful. She's still talking it because this is her brand, but she got picked. She's a
Yeah,
pygmy.
yeah, she's over there doing exactly what she's supposed to do to actually get a man and hold on to him
Secure the bag. Come on,
yeah
man.
No, she's a pick
and
me.
Hmm.
she
She's a
talked
pick
about
me
all her
for not
standards and
pick not.
everything else. And if she's smart, she'll actually do what she's supposed to do to hold on to this guy. Now,
Yeah.
as far as younger folks not wanting to have relationships and have sex and all this stuff and see less of it, that's fine and that's good. And that's not a bad thing,
Hmm.
because I suppose, and this I'm gonna do a Stephen A. Smith. This is me, speculating, my beliefs, my personal beliefs, right?
Hmm.
Is that they're starting to understand and see the repercussions of all this casual and reckless sex. They're seeing women getting burned out. Nobody's dating it. No, you got women running around complaining that men don't want to date them. The men don't want to
Yeah.
court them. They don't want to treat them like traditional women and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, why would they? You know, you're 30 years old. You've been out here doing what it is you've been doing. So you way past tradition, sweetheart. We're done with that. You passed tradition. You know, once you went past the age of 22. And remember, a lot of these young girls come out of high school. They're not virgins.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah. Yep.
They
Yep.
they
Yep.
they
Yep.
getting and now understand you got high school girls coming out of high school with already sexually active. Now older men, if you're above the age of 18, you can't even touch them,
Yeah.
right? So that's not men doing that. That's teenage boys doing that. Now the women are probably sliding over to some older men and doing what it is they're doing. But
Hmm.
if you're an older man, you got to watch that because if you mess around with the wrong one, you're gonna get caught up.
Yep.
There's a saying
Yep.
that said,
Yep. Yep.
15 to get you 20.
Right. I
15 to
never
20.
heard that. That's crazy. 15 to get you 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
15
true.
years to get
It's
you
true.
20.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
Yo,
Excuse me,
hey,
Tiff
man.
C.
Mm.
yeah. So yeah,
In
so
some
so
cases,
Wait, name
uh
it. Let KFC learn.
I said, excuse
okay,
me.
yeah, yeah. I'll say
Yeah.
this, and
Go, go.
I'll say this. I'll go ahead and answer your question. So
Hmm.
my issue is that if they don't want relationships, that's fine. I don't even care about that, and that's good. And it's mostly women who are saying that. There's some guys who are saying it, but that's because of all the repercussions that come with marriage and everything else, and the risks that come with it. But you know what I noticed? Ain't nobody stopped having babies though. The algorithm babies keep popping out. Women that haven't stopped having babies, and they're
That,
not
that
doing
that
that.
birth rate is going. That birth rate is going down, no,
Yeah.
Kev. That birth rate is going down.
Yeah, the birth
And
rate.
I here's something to consider. I
Hmm.
do agree with you that we have lived through about four-ish decades of oversexed, television.
Yeah.
About four, right?
Facts.
Three-ish, but let's say four.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's. I think that's a issue. I think the issue we're dealing with younger people now, with younger millennials, but definitely Gen Z, is a mixture of that, like pretty much a refusal to go down that road, but also I don't think they've been socialized on how to interact with the opposite sex in an
Nope.
intimate way before you even get to
Mhm.
sex in the first place. I
Yeah.
don't think they have. I'm not forget just courting. That's more of an old school concept. But
Yeah.
forget courting. They don't know how to date. They don't even know how to initiate the date per se. I think there's way
Yeah.
too much telling them what not to do. Where their and I'm speaking about the men in particular. I'm getting an echo, but they're. I think it's paralyzing the men, but also making it's so much more difficult for the women if their peers are around to be open, right? Because there's so many, well, you're not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to do that, and that's socially awkward, and why are you
Facts.
stalking me, and where is this? And we end up in a place where the women are like, no, 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 and then the men are like, well, right? And then you add internet porn, you add video games, you add social media, and there's so much more that can occupy a young person's time and energy that they would be in another era trying to talk to girls or women that are open to for men to come and approach and whatever. So I agree with you that because yeah, the oversex thing on TV and movies, it got grotesque and it's just too much. But I think and then you don't even really need it in television anymore because the young people have internet porn on their phone. It's like this is a thing. So
Internet
what
porn while at school, absolutely. So
exactly, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So what is a sex scene when I literally like I'm 2 clicks away from I'm 2 clicks away from a clip. So
from Mia
like
Khalifa,
yeah.
when you 2 clicks away from Mia Khalifa. So you
You
had a
see what I'm
question for
saying?
me, sir?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had a question for me?
Yeah.
So my biggest
I
You had a
I
issue.
did
question?
actually. I did.
Wait. Okay,
Who
so let's do
who
this.
was that that had a
Let
question
Leon
for me?
go because Leon wanted to make a comment, and then we'll
Mhm.
get Namer's question because that might be a little long, and then we're gonna close out everyone. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead, Leon, and
My
then Namer's question. Mhm.
my issue is going to continue being the same issue. It's guys feeling some way about a woman's body count. I understand it, but it just represents that for some reason you weren't maybe as masculine as other guys
Mhm.
during a period of time, and it took you longer to financially mature or
Mhm.
whatever. So understand that if that's you, you have choices, whether it's passport or go somewhere else, or I understand that you have more values to date a younger woman that still hasn't got that body count
Mhm.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it as a double-sided situation. You know what I'm saying? That it just is what it is. Like my first sexual experience came early in my
Yeah.
in my life. I didn't have that issue, and then I'm still hyper masculine to an extent. You know what I'm saying? So I understand some
I
guys that aren't physically or how they articulate themselves to women. All those still issues that guys need to solve. So when guys are telling y'all you need to work out or do this, I understand why they're saying that.
there's something to consider, and I'll just leave this there, and I'm gonna let Naaman ask this question. I think for many men, they judge the body count for them is judgment, and it's
Yes.
your judgment. So it's there's no way you found this many men attractive. You found this many men attractive. There's no way you found this many men funny and charismatic. You found this many men funny and charismatic, right? So like and so it's like how easy is it to be appealing to you to the point where we get to that place, right? So
Hmm.
if you are 25 and you running up a number of 60, right? Goddamn, right? Or 50, or let's say even 30. Well, then that many people have been appeal. Let's say you started at 15 years old. That many men have been appealing to you, or young. Well, at one point,
They're
boys, and
still in the
then
same
men.
cohort.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
They're
all.
still
That's
the
all it
same
is.
group
I
of
think.
males. They're still
Yeah.
the same group of males that fit, that
No, no, no. You're
the
right about that. But I
stereotypical
just
thing.
think
You know what I'm saying?
for a lot of other men, it's just like, God damn, like And then let's be honest, we want to feel special too. The women are not
Hmm.
the only ones that want to feel. Men want to feel special too. And how can I feel special? I could feel special if I'm one of five, one of six, one of four, one of three. I cannot feel
Hmm.
special if I am one of 100,
66.
one of
Yeah.
60, one of
We want to be
55, right?
desired.
That's why
Yeah,
guys fake it until they make it. You gotta act like a
yeah,
drug dealer. Y'all don't think I
yeah,
had weed on me for particular reasons to get particular type of women, or you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like you gotta act it. You gotta fake it until you make it. You gotta get a
yeah.
car you don't want. You gotta dress a way you may not like want, or act a way you may not
No,
want to get
it's
certain
true.
type of bitches. That's just
It's true.
just being for real.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was like
Go ahead, name it, and then ask
I
you
know
the
you an
question.
R&B head.
For
I know you're an R&B head, Z. So you might remember the
Mhm.
song called "Beauty Queen" by Next.
I want to say yes. I should go.
Got to check out. I think it was on Welcome
Yeah,
to Ecstasy. But anyway, or
yeah.
there's the one that came out in 2000. But anyway,
Mhm.
Kev C. You
Yeah,
said
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
like you said about the whole thing about sexuality.
Mhm.
First of all, well, it's not more. It's more of a comment than a question. But let's not forget that naturally women become more sexually active at a younger age than men. So some cases, girls at a certain age are not going to cannot mess with certain boys because age consent laws and be what it is. But that's not going to stop them from experimenting with one another, especially considering with this generation, our generation, there's been a rise of bisexuality and whatnot among women. Secondly, um, with
Younger
Gen Zs, a
dudes
lot of
too.
them, yeah, younger dudes, but Gen Z, it's nothing like what happened to like the last of the millennials because millennials who were coming up in the 2000s, there was the hookup culture. That's why they weren't dating into what so much,
Mhm.
especially in suburban America or or working class America. Kids were just hooking up. It's like
Yeah.
their grandparents' generation in the '60s with the free love thing. Only back then they were like really worried about STDs like that.
Yeah.
And
The
here
the, the
and people are not.
millennial the
Go ahead.
millennial generation. I'm a '06 graduate, so the millennial
Mhm.
generation, we weren't dating because all of us were broken. The girls understood that they were broken, we were broke because the economy
Yep.
crashed. So
Yeah.
so dating was not like the first thing. It was if we had a good time around the female, if we clicked up, we they knew we were broke.
What the young people call it, the vibe.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah,
The vibe.
we our generation when we came into adulthood, we were fucked.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
2008, yeah, so it was different.
Yeah.
It was different.
So in other
Vibe.
words, Leon, you
Vibe.
saying you saying that 2008 is 2023? That's what you just said. That's what I heard. Anyway, go ahead. I
It
think I think
to
Lion is
me
trying to say
it's
something. Go
worse.
ahead.
To me it's worse because we had that 2.5 years of
Yeah.
being stuck inside. So it's actually worse for
Uh-huh.
them. On top of
Yeah,
not having the
yeah.
money, we had
Good
a lot
point.
of freedom. 2006. I mean, you go to the
And
club, it was $5, $10 to get in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
and here's another thing
I
to
could.
consider.
Wait, real quick. Let Leon go and then Neymar, and
Okay.
we gotta close out, y'all, because
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Mrs. D has been a horrible boyfriend right now. Oh boy, go ahead.
So not only that, you didn't have the social media didn't take over yet, and so if
Hmm.
you wanted to go somewhere, you already knew where all the females were. They're going to be out because it was free for females. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yep.
club was packed. Girls want to dance with niggas. There was no smartphone to stop girls from dancing with you. So it was easier to
True.
meet women back there. You know, but
Yep.
Yeah.
now it's phones everywhere. They don't have privacy. They've been disconnected from each other. Plus they're broke, and they don't want to admit how broke they are. We knew we
Bruh,
was broke.
bruh,
But the difference
bruh.
is everybody. But here's the thing. It can be. But that's the point of the smartphone because it gets to mask how broke you are. But so when
Yep.
somebody's out
Yep.
somewhere and they've never been there before, everybody can just live stream or they can record their shit because they want to broadcast to the world that everybody they're living this high life. Like
Yeah.
Rollo Tomasi put it this way, and he was absolutely right. like Instagram or dating is branding now.
Yes.
It's a branding. It's
Yes.
a branding thing. That's what
And
it
you're
is. So
signaling what you're worth
yeah, you're
by
saying
showing.
so.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
by showing by women showing their food or where they're at, even though they're probably sharing food with their friends or whatever,
Straight up.
or sharing a
Straight
date
up.
I agree.
hotel room.
Hmm.
But at the
Ooh,
same
shout
thing, but
out.
at the same time, but it's older women in their 30s doing this shit too. That's what I want to
Literally.
comment on about women not about socializing, because I'm like, women don't know how to socialize with men now. Why do you think all these women are in these conversations now? Because their whole lives they didn't really have an understanding of men. They have no, even women in their 30s don't have any understanding of men now. That's why they're asking
Yep.
the questions they're
I,
asking in their
Yeah.
30s.
I think they do. This is my thing. This is the issue that I have. The fact that I don't make 100K, but I do far. I'm above average. And
Me too.
the thing is this: we know the percent of our population that are not working. It's not good.
Hmm.
But for the guys that are working, we can behave in certain type of ways because there's not a lot of competition. That's just the reality.
Hmm.
I can behave a certain type of way because there's not enough competition in my tax bracket. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
just is what it is. Even the poor guys can act a certain type of way. When we look at those numbers, yeah, on average we make more than women, but when you look at the total number, it's like, yeah, as a group, women are making more money, but we
Yes.
make more as individuals because a
Yes.
large population is unemployed. But that affects our behavior, and it allows us to be more free if we're making above 60K, bro. If you're
Yeah.
making
So
100, if you're making 200, you're free. You cannot participate in anything that you don't want to. And that's what
Hmm.
they understand, and that's what they don't like. They actually want more men employed so the behavior and the competition changes to where you just can't be an asshole.
But the thing
uh,
They
about
want
that
a
is
buyer's
that
market. They want to
men,
be a seller's market, not a buyer's market.
yeah,
I,
but
I
at
don't
the
want to give
same
women that
time,
much
as
credit.
men,
I don't
at
want
the
to give them
same,
that much credit. You don't need money to have sex with women. You don't.
no, you don't.
Anyway,
No,
I
you
agree.
don't.
and
No, you don't.
I
and
No,
think money
no,
is the
I'm saying the
substitute.
behavior.
No, no,
I'm
no.
saying the
No, you're right.
behavior.
You're right. You're right. But no, no. Leon's correct. But I think, and I had this conversation with a homegirl, and she said it flat. Like, your money got to make up for the fact that you may not be on the top of my list, right? So like okay, you're attractive enough, you are charismatic enough, you are put together enough, but yeah, it's something missing. And the money and the status is what makes up for that. Now, KFC is 100% right, where you don't have to have all of these things to have sex with a woman. But if you don't have all of these things, this is where your money come in, or your status come in, or whatever and like Leon saying, you don't gotta be super baller. But because you are a $65,000 a year dude, $70,000 a year dude, you make up for the fact that you may not have necessarily been her first pick.
That's fine. But here's the thing about that. But here's the thing,
Hmm.
that because we get so caught up in women's sexual strategy, while she's making those same determinations of you,
Yeah.
men are making that same determination as you when it comes to long term, because that's why a lot of these women aren't married. Because
That's what I'm
Facts.
he
saying.
looked at you and he
Hmm.
was like, all right, well, she does this, she does look good enough, but she can't cook, but she can't work, she can't cook worth a damn.
Yeah.
She actually curses. She
Yeah.
actually
shout out to
curses.
Tisha Campbell and
Like
Martin.
she
And
can't cook
and
worth a damn. She curses too. I think she curses too much. And
Yep.
God, her breath.
but that's what I'm saying. They're saying that we can do that
Hmm.
because they understand the amount of guys compared to them.
Yeah.
So I can behave in a way that I can do some fuck shit, and it's like if she breaks up with me, the reality is there's not too many more of me. That's what
Could
I'm
I could I
saying.
Yeah.
That's
could
what
I
they
Women,
rephrase
need.
that?
women are
Let me
replaceable.
put it as to go on to what Leon's saying. You're really let's say 5.5, but because of the current environment and unemployed men and whatever, the environment is making you talk about 7.2. Kim Foster is making you a 7.2, but you really a 5.5. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
So
mean,
the one thing
I
that
Exactly.
mean,
actually hurts
I can
women
get
the
away
more.
with fuck shit.
and my
yeah.
response to
Exactly
that is,
right.
but my response to that is, it's fine. But when
Yep.
we start evaluating you for the long term, you're
Oh
really a
no,
three.
don't do that. knew you. I knew it. Hey,
That's fine.
remember?
If I'm really a 5.5 and you think you fucking with me is some sort of blessing, I don't come out to the face trying to talk about marriage and long term because you
Hey,
stopped being that a long time ago.
hey,
Well,
look.
so
Yeah.
Go
women
ahead,
are hurting
Kev.
yeah, women are hurting themselves actually in one big category, their age.
Mm,
They're playing around to age
yeah,
30 and then they want to show up at 30 talking about, okay, now I'm
man.
ready, I know my worth. Look, your worth,
Not even
yeah,
30, Kev.
Nah, you
Not
tried
exactly.
that.
So
even 30, Kev. Kev, when I say it's bad, man,
yeah.
it's bad. I know. Look, I literally know women. This is not a joke. Literally know women. They, they, they have the desperation. Don't get it twisted. But they're so hell bent on a particular outcome, even after 35. And I'm like, bitch,
Hmm.
like I'm not talking about. This is like personal. And I'm like, excuse me, but you can't have that conversation with them because they get in their feelings and then they start talking. I'm telling y'all, I really engage in these conversations in real life. They
I'm gonna
start
get
talking
Hey,
reckless when you start telling
let
them,
me
"Hey, I want
come
to
in.
real quick." Let me land with this. When you tell them, "Look, I want to see you. I don't want to see you out here looking at Ebony K. Williams. I don't want to see you out here." And they get in their bag and they start getting real angry and real
Yeah,
sassy
Wilson
and
had a
real
leverage.
because you try to tell them, "Look, we're over 35. That clock, man," and they know it. It's not that they know it. They're just
Yeah,
angry that they
they're
find
angry
themselves
about
in
it.
this position, and they're angry that they haven't they're not in relationship with the ideal, and they're
Hmm.
still kind of holding out for the ideal. And there
Bullshit.
you
You
go.
Let's
got
let me just
But
end it with this. Let me end it with this.
Go ahead.
Understand that our position of fuckery is higher than the white guys because there's too many white guys.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like white guys have to behave a certain type of way because a white woman can still find another white guy.
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
the reality. Black women, when once you reach 50K and above,
Mhm.
mhm.
we can pull off a lot of fuckery because there's not a lot of competition, black male competition. That's what I'm trying to explain. White
Wait,
guys
can't they just
understand
find
that
another white guy too, though, Leon?
if
Can't
they
the
want,
Leon,
can't
on the
black
flip
women find
side,
another
but
white
you
guy too?
know, look, but you know how white guys are programmed. They're programmed different than us.
Yeah,
yeah,
They're straight up. Let's not even get it confused. Like they'll take a hoe as long as she's not embarrassing them.
yep,
Let's keep it real.
yep,
They're simps.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
Leon, on the flip side, though, on the flip side, we as black men, we can just get accused, and it's over for us. Understand?
yeah, yeah.
We can still get accused because they could just call the cops on us, and we got to watch ourselves immediately, whether it's a black woman or a woman of the race. As much fuckers we engage in, we also understand on the flip side we got to cover our tracks because at the end of the day, you're a black male in this society, and you know how the greater society perceives black males.
Well, that's the leverage that the women hold
Uh-huh.
over you, particularly black women, right? In this case, so that yeah, no, that's understood. That's definitely understood, Nema. But I
Yeah,
think at the end of the day, and
but
I'm about to close out, y'all. I'm about to close out. I'm about to close out.
I didn't get to
So
say what I want to say, but okay.
go ahead, and I'm gonna close out. Go ahead.
One thing we also got to, and what I said about the young Gen Zs and everything is the number of people who are non-binary, and then how many millennials are also trying to be non-binary.
This is
And while we're
fact.
at it, yeah, and while we're at it, KFC, what he said was true because
Mhm.
basically, to use an NBA reference, a lot of them think they're going to go out like Robert Parrish when he signed with the Bulls and got that last championship ring and retired.
Mhm.
But more often than not they're going to be like Karl Malone when he was with the Lakers.
Nothing.
Find the
Not
line.
a.
Find the line. What I'm saying. And
Not a
also, before I
nothing.
get out, before I'm out of here, check out Snowman in the Morning because there was an ad.
Mhm.
There's an ad that they run. It's a PSA about parents talking to teenagers about drugs and alcohol because that's something that a lot of people still having troubles with because they ain't going to clubs, but house parties are still there
True.
and they're exposed to all kinds of shit. And social media being what it is, somebody could take a picture of you, drunk, fainted, whatnot, especially in white neighborhoods and whatnot. So we got to be understanding that how these people use social media to destroy, not to just uplift, but also tear each other down, is what's
Facts.
affecting this generation. You think millennials with cancel culture was bad? Oh yeah, Charles Barkley with the Rockets. Good. Well, not exactly, but I see your point. Or Gary Payton, but he eventually went to Miami, got a ring.
We're making our closing. Okay, let me close
Oh
out
man,
because okay, at the end
Yeah,
of the
close
day,
out. I'm done.
yeah, at the end of the day, first of all, Kim Foster, you can't pretend you a pick me too. Look at you. You was glowing. Look how you talk about your boyfriend. You are a pick me. Okay? It's
she is.
okay, Kim Foster. You are a hypocritical feminist, Kim Foster. It's okay. It's okay because all of you are. It's okay. Just own it and we can continue and we can tell you do you want to stay. I'm gonna start a course, Mr. Z's 10-step program to not be a hypocritical black woman.
Good
Right,
luck.
step one, ownership of your crap. Right, so so yeah, Kim Foster, that's what it is. The asexual young kids and young people, look, that's because of us millennials and Gen X and boomers. We unpacked all of our crap in front of them. We've been talking real reckless on social media. We put a lot of sex stuff in TV, and now these Gen Z don't know what the hell, they don't know the head from the ass, and I blame that on us. Especially for us millennials and younger Xers talking a whole lot of shit on the internet about our relationship issues, and now Gen Z is scared as hell, namely the women. Shout out to all you
Hmm.
Xer and millennial and young boomer women on the internet talking a bunch of crap. Now your daughters don't know what to do except eat each other out. Oops. And yeah, so there's that. And what was the other thing I wanted to cover? That, oh yeah, shout
And the
out
rate
to
of herpes going up.
well, that part too, and shout out to what's the brother's name again? I had it right here. It's here. It's here. Wait a minute, because that
You got to
brother,
be
I did.
real and add the last part to the queerness.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole the look, man. The whole non-binary, queer, bisexual thing. Look,
Tell the
I
truth
I
where it comes from.
I'll do what y'all want to. Yeah, but it really the same sex thing for black women at least is a temper tantrum against black men. That's all that
Not
is.
only that,
Um,
no, it's
go ahead, go ahead,
beyond that.
go ahead.
You know, you've been in the spaces, and when you hear the women speak, if you avoid everything, it still boils down to the myth of white womanhood that they never got
Oh
to
yeah,
truly be women.
yeah,
That's why they're
yeah,
queer.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, that's one. It's yeah, no, no. So what you're saying, which is, I'm not gonna win at this, so I forfeit the whole thing. Yeah, no, 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 completely, completely. And the last thing I want to say, the other link is of Obsidian. Um, Speaking about the Cynthia G thing, and shout out to Mental Agility. I need to get that brother on my channel so he could tell us about the DMV area, namely DC, and how there's these women who are referencing Sinji and Shira 7 talking points, and these people are either movers and shakers themselves or in the ears of the movers and shakers, and that's frightening. And on that note, everyone, we're gonna pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Um, Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Um, Thank you button for the replay squad, and we'll end it right here. Please, for the love of God, go check out other non-Manosphere content. If you haven't watched The Social Dilemma, I suggest you check it out. I know it's on Netflix. I don't know what other streaming service it might be on, but it's really, 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 really good, especially for you brothers with children, and adolescents, and yeah, yeah. So,
And
and on that
take your
note, we'll
girl to
pause
the
right there.
cheese factory, damn it.
Yeah, and take your exactly. And your girl ain't one of these people, and even if she is one of these people, as a matter of fact, take her to the Cheesecake Factory as a test, right? So that part as a test. So and we'll end out right there, and y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out. All right, everyone.
Drive safely.